Good morning, good evening, everyone who is joining us from wherever you might be joining us today. We are back for the first time in a minute. We are down a Tauren today, unfortunately. So if you happen to wonder what he's doing, just picture him kind of standing there brooding. That's going to be Tauren for today's session. Dark and broody. He's taking a book from Auden, a page from Auden's book.
I imagine while he's being dark and broody, he's also picturing himself frolicking through the Feywild.
The Feywild, yeah, he's just kind of in another world. He's daydreaming a little bit. We appreciate everyone who's come in so far. You guys are the best. Thank you, Chris, with the sub, buddy. I appreciate you. Appreciate our Twitch, baby. Yeah, so it's been a little bit of a break since our last session, so we'll go over a quick recap. After meeting with our new companion here, Gregory, a very young man on a journey of his own, seemingly. 60 is still very young. Still pretty young.
Yeah.
But you joined up with Gregory, left the remainder of the Hushroot tribe and the new group of seemingly refugees who had been displaced from Tursa following the attack by the local pirate band, and formed a small alliance. Made your way northward into the Incendus mountain range, choosing to take the path less traveled and cutting a more direct route through the mountains as opposed to following a road itself. During your evening's camp, due to a couple of really high perception rolls, I believe it was Auden at first who noticed. I could be wrong. Whoever heard the party, I'm not sure who it was, but someone heard what appeared to be a couple of individuals on the cliff tops above talking about the party that had been traveling through the mountains and drawing quite a bit of attention to themselves with their large golden warhorse. Choosing to try and get a little bit of a foot up on your pursuers, you waited the rest of the evening, and in the early morning, before the sun had made its appearance, Auden and Tauren decided they were going to sneak ahead, following the direction the voices had left, and see if they can't maybe scope out what lies on the road ahead. Discovering a small bandit encampment with what appeared to be about 5 or 6 individuals, you decided to kind of sit there and scope things out while Auden maintained a overwatch position and waited for Tauren to return with the party. The party returned, however, after blowing a fairly important stealth roll in the moment, very quickly drew the attention of the archers who were already on guard. Tauren immediately taking a number of hits, but Auden managing to get an ambush of his own in as well. A fairly bloody combat ensued, one that almost saw Stanislav drop to 0 hit points, but not quite, through to some fairly clutch healing by our friend Gregory, and some paladin points, if you will.
Gotta love them lay on hands,
Gotta lay those hands on me, dog. And yeah, as the leader of this bandit brigade, a very ferocious hobgoblin is felled to 2 arrows to each knee, or 1 arrow to each knee, begging for an honorable death, one befitting a warrior of his stature. Before the group could come to a decision, Auden made an appearance, coming down from his perch above, seemingly wanting to negotiate with this individual for some reason, delaying the warrior's death that he so deeply craved. That's where we left off the session. And we'll pick up right from there, as the 4 of you, Tauren, more silent than usual, and that's saying something for him, standing over this hobgoblin who is currently kneeling in the sand, with 2 broken arrows in his knees that broke when he fell to his knees.
And my sword at his neck.
And the sword at his neck, and you're kind of just waiting for the moment to get that last strike in, when Auden kind of comes over and begins a discourse.
Yeah, so I would more or less just be coming down the hill, like reloading as I go, just because the combat looks over doesn't mean that the fight's done.
Yeah, one did run away.
Yeah.
You did not manage to kill them all.
I'm assuming
You do see
not coming back. Go ahead.
You do see Stanislav being a little bit uncharacteristically patient with this dude. He's not twitching. He doesn't look super anxious to cut his head off.
Only mildly anxious, yeah.
Only mildly.
Yeah.
Um, so, Otten, as he's coming down, he's gonna sit across from the hobgoblin, just get down on his
Get eye level.
get eye level, cross-legged.
Stanislav will move around behind and just kind of like, it's gonna remove the sword from his neck and just like stick it in the ground uncomfortably close to his back.
What's your name?
Bithius.
Bithius. Well, Bithius, you can refer to me as Ramalia Noct.
One more time.
Ramalia Noct.
Ramalia Noct. Is there any reason you're talking to me right now?
Well, originally, the plan had been to use one of this camp to work as a diversion, and as we moved through the territory, in case we needed to distract that giant bird thing. But you're far more valuable than that. And I think you know it.
I know it all right, but I lost.
And you're
People
defined
dead.
by a single loss.
We have our codes. Maybe a bandit, but I still have my honor. I lost.
I mean, bandit codes are one thing, and goblin codes are another. So tell me, do you subscribe to the code of thieves, the code of warriors, or the code of your people?
Code of my people.
Then the code of your people would state, if I'm not mistaken, that a
Do
loss,
tell me about my own people, please.
in my experience, and I did say if I'm not mistaken. If
He
I
kinda
am, feel
grins
free
at
to
you
correct
through
me.
very fanged teeth, like he's got a
I
very
am-
large fang there.
Not mistaken. If a warband is defeated, it is not traditional to kill all, but to absorb that which is useful.
So you want to absorb me, is that it?
Yes, to be blunt.
Stanislav pats him on the shoulder a couple of times.
You guys are a little flashy for my tastes.
That's okay. I would like to. Your skills are different than what our particular skill set would be.
Really?
Yes. You may disagree, but I look at you and I see someone who can coordinate multiple troops, who has no issues with working with multiple races, who is capable of training people, and who is willing to set up a garrison. I have none of those skills, neither do anyone here. You are able to find a choke point, control it, and maintain it for a long period of time, something no one in this party is capable of doing. At least not without making sacrifices we're not willing to make. I need those skills.
He just kind of stares at you. Kind of sizes you up a bit. Looks you up and down a little. And you're no longer wearing the traditional armor of your people too, right?
That's correct. That
Okay.
might be a death sentence, and I'm avoiding that at the moment.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Stanislav also has Hushroot armor on.
So does Otten, if I remember correctly.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we both look like
Oh,
members
and
of that.
I
Desert
will say-
tribesman, yeah.
I will say for a moment I may have this armor, but I'm not enlisting you into some hushroot cause. I myself am not enlisted in a hushroot cause. A means to an end.
He looks at the armor quizzically for a second. He's like, okay, if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's probably a hush root, but it's fine. He kind of just accepts it at this point.
Stanislav is also gonna like step around and just pull out a platinum piece and like hold it out and offer it to him.
Greg is still a giant spider.
I don't take charity. He just looks over and sees the giant spider for a second and kind of reacts and then just shakes his head.
Respectfully, that's not charity. Although I appreciate Stanislav helping. You're now down a garrison. I need that garrison.
I'm gonna pull out the paper real quick and just show Otten, not the hobgoblin, just good, strong will.
Yeah. I know he has strong will. We're gonna need. You are alone not going to be able to do everything you need to do. You're going to need troops again, and you're going to need equipment. we're going to have to fund you those resources. I'm not expecting you to go find an entire group to make up for what you've lost.
Have you spent a lot of time here? It's not exactly hard to find desperate souls willing to wield a sword.
Well, I haven't spent much time here, and that makes you even more
Clearly.
valuable.
So I'm
You
valuable.
have. I already said you are valuable. Your skills are valuable to me right now, and will be for a significant amount of time. I've not hidden that.
Roll me a persuasion check, please.
Okay.
I'll say at advantage because you have a sword embedded in the ground right behind him. He's surrounded by people, and he just lost all his peeps. So
Well, that's a 10.
he looks at you and just spits at your feet. The little bit of blood that comes out of his mouth. I'm no one's errand boy. I'm not here to train your men. I'm here to fight for my cause, not yours.
What is your cause?
Whatever I want it to be in the moment.
What do you want it to be in this moment?
Death.
That's not something to fight for.
At this point, it's all I have. Like I said, you killed all my people. Now you're asking me to work for you?
Yes.
You're not very convincing.
No.
Let's just say that wasn't very persuasive.
Stanislav starts stepping back around behind him.
I'm not going to kill you. If you want to jump off a cliff and have a dishonorable death, that's your choice. If you want to waste those talents that you've spent your entire life curating for a purpose, that is your choice. It's your prerogative. I will not stop you, but I will not kill you. I value things, and things of value must not be wasted. If you wish to waste yourself, go ahead. Stanislav, let him go. Stanislav sized you up as someone who had courage, and I'm going to start standing up and will. And if you disagree with the opinions of at least 2 warriors who saw fit to take out your entire troop outnumbered, that's your choice. And I walk off.
At this point, Stanislav takes his sword out of the ground.
I keep a corner of my eye just in case he starts going for me again. Just in case he starts going to attack me again.
Fair.
And if he does, it's in his foot.
I put it back on his shoulder by his neck and step around to the front of him. And I just kind of I make eye contact with him, but very sincere eye contact. I give him kind of like a nod.
He looks at you unblinking.
Just okay. Swift.
As you swing, you're not even gonna have to roll. He's at 1 hit point. He's kneeling. He's accepted it. He just kind of stretches his neck out a little. And as you bring it up and you're about to bring down the strike, he just looks you in the eyes and says, "Strike true." As you swing, clean off, the head rolls into the sand. You see the fanged mouth kind of just laying there agape. The eyes open, still staring, unblinking. Will remain forever so. The body just into the sand at your feet.
Is there a reason you killed him?
Just comes over with his alphabet.
With his alphagettis.
Attempts to spell out "don't need enemy like that."
What do you mean? He wasn't an enemy.
If not dead, yes, he is. And Stanislav just kind of turns around and goes back towards the body and starts shoveling sand with his shield.
Okay. Are you gonna search the body for anything, or you just buried him?
I mean, I
No.
intend on it, but I'm gonna...
You can have the body. I take the head. He's going to be useful one way or another. And I'm going to take out a piece of paper and I'm going to write a note. And it's just going to say, do you see any honor on this grave? And once the body's buried, I am going to set the head on top, place the note in an angle, crossbow bolt it directly into the head, and leave that.
Fair enough. Stani, while you're trying to dig this grave in the kind of rocky, sandy earth, it's hard. It's not easy ground to dig. It is dry. It is rigid.
I will help.
I do still have my channel divinity up.
You
so-
managed to do it after about, I'd say, 10-15 minutes of digging. You break the surface enough to get to the softer stuff underneath. And dig a fairly decent grave for this individual. Say, roll me an investigation check if you want to search the body for any goodies or anything, and if anyone wants to search the remaining bodies. Didn't really seem like they had anything all that special in terms of gear. Kind of getting by with the bare minimum.
I look at Gregory and just kind of like motion for him to come over and help.
This whole time I was just kind of like doing like a spider, kind of like behind just looking.
Oh yeah, right.
Still B-shaped as a spider, yeah.
Yep.
Just kind of doing a lot of that, and then I see that, and I immediately, you see me go behind the tree, and then Gregory, just normal me, comes out holding the mask and just. Yeah? What? Sure. Yeah.
We got a good chuckle out of Stanislav for that one. Yeah, and he just kind of motions over for you to help him search the body.
Yeah, I'm going. Okay, yeah.
My investigation is dog shit.
Yeah, as Gregory, you come out and take the mask off, you notice Torrin staring at it, or you specifically. Just kind of quizzically, not like overly obviously, but the mask thing definitely caught his eye.
I will, once we're finished with the grave, I'll help them look, because that is what I'm actually good at.
Okay. Everyone who wants to roll, go ahead.
Investigation.
Mhm.
18. Cool.
Okay.
Like I rolled higher than you, and you got 8 more than me.
So,
Amazing.
on the bodies, you don't find a lot. Some basic gear, armor, weapons, nothing fancy. You gathered these people were successful, A, because they were smart about the location they picked, and they were talented at what they did.
Right.
However, around here, kind of just down the cliff edge, you do find what appears to be their stash, which you rolled an 18, which was just 2 above where you needed to hit for it. And you do find about 178 gold pieces.
Oh.
Pretty sizable stash. You gather they've been operating here for quite some time. And there's evidence of several weeks worth of campfire being made here. There's quite a pile of coals.
So that would be 45 each. 44 for 2 people and 45 for the other 2. I will take 44, and I will give 44 to
Me.
Stani, and then the other 2 will get the 45.
Cool. I will add that to Torrin's sheet right now. since he's
I'm
not
also
here to
gonna
do it
take
himself.
mine and go over to Gregory and just like pat him on the shoulder and spell out, "You did really good," and give him the 44 that I had.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
You just got it. You have
Yep.
more gold in your hands than you have ever held in your life, buddy.
I'm just like holding like 2 handfuls of gold, and they're kind of like slipping and falling. Just immediately open up the toy box, and they all just go in and just. Wow, I made a good choice. Okay, cool. Woo.
Welcome.
Quite the introduction.
Mm-hmm.
So.
This is going to be lucrative in many ways.
Which reminds me, aren't you supposed to stay in the back? Click as I'm putting my bolts back in.
Stanislav just like playfully shoves you.
I kind of panicked when I couldn't see anybody. That was kind of like I got to get over that. Once I was just alone, I just immediately just. Woo.
You know, fair. I get that. That's valid.
But you're right. Next time, that's going to be something I'm going to try and do.
Was there any equipment in this stash?
You can't heal
Oh,
anyone
sorry.
if you're dead.
Sorry, boys.
This is true.
Go ahead and ask. Go ahead and if there's any equipment.
Nothing that really stands out. There's like some booze, some kind of personal flasks, basic personal belongings, satchels that are like finely crafted. Nothing that really stands out. The most of the weapons that they would have found are ones they would have repurposed to use themselves.
Any of the flasks have booze in them?
Oh yeah, but it is
I'll be
warm.
taking all.
It has been in the sun. It is a little toasty in there, but like you got a fairly wide array of various alcohols. Probably about 4 or 5 different flasks, I'd say.
I'll just grab the nicest looking flask.
Yeah, it's nice, kind of silver. Some
Sweet.
basic inlays on it and like a leather wrapping around it. Nothing too
Nice.
fancy. You kind of smells like rum. Might be rum. Probably rum.
I'll use it to sanitize my wounds.
Stings like shit.
Yep.
But it definitely helps. And you
Stanislav
probably won't be
doesn't-
dying from infection anytime soon.
Yep.
Not that it matters.
Wait, I'm immune to disease.
You're a
It doesn't matter.
paladin. It does not matter.
He does it out of habit. He does
You
it out
could
of
get
habit.
gangrene and no one would notice. So,
Yep.
with the grave,
What about on him? On the guy?
you again, very basic gear, but you did notice as you were moving the body to put it in his grave, he had one hand tucked up under the back of his armaments, and as you look, he was definitely reaching for a dagger with which to attack one of you. Yeah, he was gonna go out like a warrior on that. You guys, like, the persuasion just ended up so low. I'm sorry.
I was gonna shoot him in
It's
the
fine.
kneecap. I was gonna literally cripple him and walk away.
He already had to in the kneecaps. He's already crippled, man.
Oh,
Like-
then we would have just walked away. He would have fallen over.
Stanislav
And we would have
couldn't
walked
have-
away.
Stanislav couldn't have left him there like that on good
No.
conscience, though. But anyways,
Aw, he's a
Anyway.
warrior.
The body, freshly buried. You do find two
Oh, yeah.
daggers, just basic. He was wearing kind of simple, I believe it was plate armor. Could be wrong.
I will take those daggers.
Don't have it open right now. One sec.
um,
I literally just closed the sheet.
Oh,
Stanislav like motions to one of the daggers and asks if he can just hold on to it.
I'll toss one of them over to you.
I'll let it fall on the ground and then catch it because
Yeah, so on him, he had a greatsword.
just a great sword.
Basic greatsword. A number of javelins, some of which he threw. And then the two daggers you found on him. Armor, he had half plate. If that's something that interests you. He had a fairly decently made piece of half plate. It's a little like rusty, a little sand scarred on some points. Not very shiny,
can't-
but definitely still functional.
I can't carry all of that, but I definitely want it.
Hold on, let me just look. How many javelins? I'll take them all.
On him, he only had one left. He threw two, I believe, during the fight, if memory serves. I could be wrong, but three
Okay.
total.
I'll just grab the one. I have 4 now. That's fine.
Cool.
Um,
There you go.
I just want to see if half plate has a higher AC than what I have.
What are you wearing, chain?
I'm wearing
a
the
mithril chain.
mithril
shirt.
chainmail. It's so no. I'm
Yeah,
good.
half plate would still give you stealth disadvantage too. So
Greg,
Right. Yeah.
Greg,
And it's only 15. The chainmail's 16.
Your
Yeah.
box vanishes stuff. Can you vanish that armor for me by any chance?
yeah, and you see, like, it is kind of small, but when he kind of tries to go shove something in, it does sort of slightly. You hear some creaking wood a little bit. It doesn't get much bigger, but
Yeah.
it's just.
and eventually it just slides right in. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
The toy
Take
box
the-
of holding. That's what happens when you
I'll
give
take the
Gregory a
great
leg of
sword
holding.
too. The great sword's probably like a decently nice one, just not magic. Yeah.
Stanny.
No, it's just
Um,
standard.
Yeah. I'll just
well-made.
go and like put it in and just like kind of watch in awe as the whole thing disappears. Stanny's never seen anything like that.
Just vanishes.
Yeah, it's a family heirloom entrusted to me. Hmm.
I only plan on having you hang on to this until we get to town. But thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah, sell that up, and I'm
What-
sure. Yeah.
What kind of
money.
armor was that again?
Half plate. Which is AC 15 basic, I believe. Yeah.
Worth a
Um,
decent amount though.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
No, most
It's
gear
worth
is.
750 gold.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's worth a lot.
At base, we'd have to haggle that, but yeah.
I have there's a thing here that I can price check all my shit on too, so that's
It's
Um,
it's also right on D&D Beyond because it's not magical. That's just average. Alrighty.
so. Having freshly
Well,
buried your kill,
I just
disposed
look-
of the
I
rest
look
of the
at-
bodies.
Yep. Putting the head crossbow, and as I'm reloading once again, I just kind of make the comment into the wind. Few things kill a warrior more often than honor. Let's get moving.
Just look back at Gregory, and his eyes are just like glowing, like twinkling.
Wow.
As Stanislav scoops you up and puts you back on top of the catch.
Yeah, you
All right.
find yourself back on top of this massive, golden, beautiful, spectral warhorse.
Y'all are like a dream I never want to wake up from. This is amazing.
I mean, yeah, okay, sure.
Torin recovers a couple of his arrows, just puts them back in the quiver, and puts his bow over his shoulder, and just kind of nods and grunts at you as you get ready to go. Still kind of eyeing up Gregory a little bit.
Yeah, anytime
figure
Torin
that
like
out.
at all looks at me, you just see an immediate like he goes from being very he really worships Stan and Atten like a lot. And he treats them like older brothers, but it's when it comes to Torin, it's very much like reverential, like he would treat a priest. He's just very like
Yeah, you definitely sense the connection there a little bit.
anytime he talks, it's just like, yes sir, absolutely sir. Uh-huh.
And like we both kind of have our etherealness about us, but like obviously his is stronger, just because of how strong his connection is with this place.
It's different. His manifests in the sense that his skin changes color and he grew antlers.
I was just born gold.
You're golden shot. I mean, yeah, that's true. So, I
Stan's
assume
so nice to Greg. It's just like he's like the older brother.
I assume with all that being done, we'll be continuing our way northward. What would the party like to do? With Torin out of the picture, I will have someone else leading the charge unless you guys want me to use him and roll for it. I feel like it would be more fun to have y'all do it, but...
I mean, I'm kitted for taking point in terms of
all right.
watch.
Autumn is leading it.
Yeah.
All right, give her, buddy. Go ahead
All right.
and roll me a survival to find the fastest route through the mountains, being that you did not take the road.
Absolutely. Can anyone beat a 5 in survival? I guess I should ask.
Oh, I have a 7.
Oh, then you take point.
There you go. Yeah, I suppose the druid would be a good idea for taking point through the...
I have
the
investigation and perception, but not survival. So
Yeah,
go
you
first.
are allowed to assist if you would like.
I
That
will
is up to you.
assist.
Okay, so roll with advantage, please, Ryan.
Boop, boop, boop.
A 3. It takes very little time, partly because this seems to be where the bandit group had been coming from to come to this spot whenever they were heading back up to town to either sell their wares or fence their stuff wherever they might be doing it. This path seems to be a little more used than the one you had been traveling on up until this point. So it's pretty simple to follow. You know, based on your knowledge, you have about another day and a half of travel left to go based on the speed.
Your head is also a good 7 or like 9 or 10 feet off the ground because you're on a 7-foot tall warhorse.
Yep.
And after a while, he starts to get like real saddle sore, so he's like kind of doing that stand-up thing, but he's just kept saying, "It's just to get a better view."
Yeah, definitely getting some blisters on the inner thighs for sure. You're not used to riding horses. You made your trip here mostly in a wagon or on foot.
I usually am a horse if ever I am around horses.
You need to take a short rest and horse up again.
Yeah.
Stani notices this and just mentally asks Ikesh to smooth it out a bit if he can.
Oh.
Okay. You hear your horse respond in your head.
Sweetest pair ever.
In
I
his
love him so
usual
much.
kind of chill, laid back Ikesh voice. However, with that roll, it was the early morning, I believe, when you guys launched your attack. So how are we doing the travel for the day? Are we doing the full 8 hours? Are we breaking it up to avoid the hot parts? What is the game plan? Y'all tell me what y'all want to do.
I mean, we should probably break it up to avoid the hot parts, and then during the short rests for the hot parts, I imagine that like our friend Gregory could become a horse and then wouldn't have to worry about any of the horsey components.
Or a camel.
Yeah, or a camel could like not have to worry about any of that shit.
Any of the saddle sores, that's fair.
Yeah.
And then both.
You could both technically ride.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I could fit 2 people on Ikesh easy as well.
Yeah. The travel would be slow, and I guess it's a spectral horse, so it won't be affected by the heat per se, but it's still a lot of weight for him to carry both of you, all of your gear, all of your armor. Like, that's not exactly...
Well, no, I'm thinking
easy,
like Gregory and Torin. Because they're probably the 2 lightest members of the party.
Yeah, but if Gregory's a horse...
I know Gregory's a horse, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
no,
like,
then just
someone
they
would still
ride.
be walking, but...
Me, I'm resistant to heat. I don't have to make the roll.
Oh,
For 8 hours, I'm fine. Yeah.
I think
Okay,
you had to make the roll for like the whole 8 hours, but everyone else does it for 4.
Oh,
Right.
shit, let's do it then.
Yep.
Cool.
That sounds like a good way to break her down.
Alrighty. So, y'all make your way, and as the travel goes, you get to about the noon point as the sun kind of creeps up into the highest point of the sky, and you kind of see what little bits of moisture remain from the evening could just evaporating up on your path, kind of causing this kind of shimmery mirage-like illusion as you're making your way around. It is swelteringly hot. Actually, someone go ahead and roll me a percentile, please. We haven't done a weather check in a while. Maybe someone will get a sand sword.
I nominate Gregory.
Okay, Gregory.
Sure, Gregory's first weather check. Let's go.
Yeah.
Roll a D100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Percentile.
Where am I?
What year is it?
35.
35. Okay. So, the heat maintains throughout the day, and it is made all the worse by the fact that there is little to no wind blowing today. It is a calm day, and it is fucking hot. As you kind of weave higher up into the mountains, too, kind of getting, like, closer to the sun, and the heat just rising, and you're kind of just, like, throughout the day. And we're doing full 4 hours of travel is the plan.
And then a short rest.
Was someone, Gregory, were you going as a horse to help with that, or are we all rolling
camel.
except for Stanny?
Yeah, I'll turn into a. What's another one I like? Oh, the draft horse. Yeah, I'll turn into a very. You see, it's a very buff-looking horse. When Gregory goes to put on the mask, he just like it slaps on him, and the first thing you notice before he even starts to look horse-like is just his muscles start to like bulge out of his body and like start breaking out of his skin almost. And then he starts to like morph into like a more horse-like creature. The whole time just screaming.
Yeah. Thorin is like staring at you the entire time this is going down. There's like a brief look of concern mixed with a look of extreme interest.
Yeah, there's a lot to be concerned about until the horse form really starts to take shape, and then it starts to get more like druidic and magic-y, but the very first part is very visceral.
Yeah, you hear the muscles tearing and bones snapping into place.
Kind of like when Bruce Banner turns into the Hulk?
Nah!
Yeah, it's almost werewolf-like in its transformation. It is quite grisly. But there is now a draft horse and an Ikesh standing side by side. So I believe Auten and Thorin will be mounting up, and Stanny, who is heat resist, will be walking.
Yes.
So that negates having to roll for the heat exhaustion after the 4 hours of travel. If you do a full 8, you will have to roll. But since we're breaking it up, I'd say probably around 11 o'clock, noon is when you're going to want to find a place to rest.
We're in the mountains, right?
Yeah, they're kind of starting to become a little more spaced out at this point, a little smoother. You can tell the terrain is starting to kind of settle the further north you get. And a couple points from this distance, with you guys' perception, particularly Auten and Thorin, at some certain points as you're coming over high mountains, you can see kind of north on the northern horizon just fields of sprawling green, faintly kind of making their way off. Still quite a ways away, but it is on a nice clear day. It is visible. There is green earth out there. There is actual vegetation growing.
Something to look forward to. Next.
Stanislav is kind of ogling at this because he's been in the Ember Steppe his whole life, except for like the jungle, which also he was ogling at. So
yeah, you can't make out a lot of details, but you do just see that kind of green fields on the horizon, quite a ways away from you.
Stanislav, you know
that much
how,
color that
you know how you have good wine every once in a while, like when you're drinking your alcohol. I'm assuming you've had a nice wine. That's where they grow it.
Stanislav starts walking just a little faster.
You're not wrong, actually. Eldris is the biggest exporter of wine in the on the continent. So, and yeah, you kind of we're kind of gonna streamline this a little bit more here, but you managed to get a short rest in throughout the heat of the day. You're not too worried about anyone really kind of trying to come and fuck with you at this point based off of that. You keep an eye out for the giant bird creature that you had seen earlier on and
Right.
seem to gain no further, vision of it. We're getting a short rest, so if you guys want to, you can roll your hit dice and get some HPs back. That is entirely up to you.
I think I'm good. So I'll be lookout while they're resting.
Okay.
Actually, have I burned any of my... I have, so I am actually going to take that short rest as well.
Okay, yeah. No, you gather you're fairly safe at this point. You're getting closer to the main, the main roads and the town itself, so... Oof, rough time on the hit dice there, buddy.
Yep.
Couple good ones, but... yeah, and the rest of the day passes without incident. You wait until the sun begins to go down in the evening, probably around 4 or 5 o'clock. You remount onto your horses, I assume. Again, Gregory, it's up to you if you want to use another beast shape at this point.
Yeah, I get them back on a short rest, so.
There you
Nice.
Boop, 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 boop.
go. Oh, we continue.
And
I
you
just...
Yeah, once again, you think, okay, yeah, he just had to work out the things with the horse kinks. It's fine. No, it's even worse this time actually, because his muscles are still sore from the first time. Yeah.
Oh god.
It's more high pitched screaming this time. It's very
Yeah.
much like it's like pins and needles.
As the horse kind of materializes and stands there where Gregory once stood, you can still hear his screams echoing off the mountains around you. I need one more check just to get through the rest of the day's travel and see if we can make it to Southwatch. If you roll high enough, you're going to get there tonight. If not, you're going to get there in the morning. Whoever wants to lead the helm on that one.
Not me.
Not I say.
I mean, I can do it if we want to change somebody up. I would be the second highest.
I have a +0.
I have a +5, so it's
You.
up to you. Okay.
Go ahead.
I'll assist.
Okay.
Yeah, roll with advantage then. Okay, there you go. Yeah.
Right.
So, you travel for about another 3 hours until you finally kind of begin to weave your way down this mountain, kind of in like a little bit of a switchback pattern.
Right.
And kind of come into this valley that's kind of nestled between these two somewhat small, almost hills at this point. They're not quite mountains. And as you kind of weave around one of them, you see what appears to be a very well-worn wagon road that is kind of just weaving across the plain in front of you, and looking to your right you can see where it weaves right back into the mountains where you just came. It appears that you have reached the main highway. There's still a couple hills, valleys, and cliff sides, but nowhere near the level before, and the terrain has actually started to kind of flatten out. It's kind of like, when you go from the Rockies to the foothills outside of Calgary kind of deal.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and you do notice there's actual grass beginning to peek through. Not what you would call like full fields per se, but there's definitely a little bit more vegetation here.
I will take.
Stanislav looks
Yeah.
down at it and picks one.
It smells nice. Don't.
Roll me a Constitution saving throw. I'm joking.
Okay.
I'm
Oh
joking.
god.
There you
I'm
go.
not a dog.
No. You bend down and you pick what looks like a dandelion, but like one of the dry ones that just has
Steady.
little floofs on it. And you just,
Okay.
Don't do. It's not edible. It's a sign that things grow. It's not edible.
And he continues to go back to being enamored by it after he picks all the shit out of his
Mhm. It takes a couple minutes, but you guys do okay.
Wait till you learn that there are parts of the world that have this thing called snow. I've never seen it myself, but I've heard stories. Well, maybe someday we'll travel and see it.
It's not seen in the Imperium much. Maybe on the highest peaks of the mountains during the coldest months of the year.
Fair.
Stan- never seen
It's
it.
very, very unlikely.
Yeah, I wouldn't have seen it. I probably haven't seen it either. I know of it. But never seen it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I'm like an Egyptian.
I know what snow is. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
an off-brand of white. It's gray, white.
Great.
I've only ever seen it in books.
Never. Like I said, I know of it. It's talked about in certain combat things that I've read, but that's it. It's so rare around here that it's not really considered useful information.
Yeah, I've seen ice before, but it's never really gotten soft enough to be snow, which is ice.
Yeah.
I
Gregory,
guess.
outside of what you're saying now, you definitely would have seen ice and snow where you come from.
Oops.
100%.
Oh yeah. Gregory remembers that, and
Yeah, you're like
your
you
mind
were like
is
from
fled.
the next northern, like as far north as you can get.
You're also
until
a
you're in the
horse.
barbarian kingdom.
I'm also a horse, so I said none of this.
Yeah, you said none of this. The horse is just kind of walking along with you. Go. I hit the lever on my chair and I sunk down really low.
If you're like speaking in horse, fucking Akesh understands you. He's like
that's true.
conversing with
Akesh
you
will
and
actually
shit, yeah.
respond, and he like actually has this whole going. Oh, snow
Akesh is
wave,
just
that's
like,
really
actually-
cool. I've never
Where
heard
you're
of
from,
that.
there's lots of snow, and I think you know that.
There's no snow where I'm from. I'm from up there. He kind of just gestures with his nose up to the sky. Standing, all you hear is your two horses going, kind of slapping some lips together. Just having a right
Chat with
good time.
Akesh, I'm gonna become best friends with him by the end of this.
It's already happened. He loves it.
Yes.
It's over. You guys are homies now. Oh my
He's
God.
never had a horse friend before.
No.
This is true.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He makes conversation with you the rest of the journey. Even when it gets to the point that you're kind of over it, you're like, I wish this fucking horse would stop talking. He's just going. He's never actually got to have like a full conversation before. So he's just chatting your ear off the entire trip.
I
Yeah,
noticed that.
he has an
halfway through.
intelligence of 5, so like he could maintain the most basic of conversations and like reply to you and understand.
Yeah, no,
Torin
horses,
and I-
yeah.
Torin and I sit across from each other, never say a fucking word.
Yeah, no, the entire ride, completely silent. Torin just got like his hands on the fucking reins, just kind of riding along. You get
Yeah,
the
they're-
sense that Torin prefers to be on his own 2 feet as well. Like he's very much let your own feet carry you type, but he's not going to turn down an easy ride through the Ember Steppe. Let me tell you that much, or through the Incendus Mountains, more accurately. However, after about 3-4 hours travel, you kind of come down or come up over this rise on top of what appears to be a fairly small hill. And as you come over, you see below you in the valley just a great wall of cliff where the Incendus mountain range seemingly meets the other continental plate that it had rammed up against some millions and millions of years ago. And there is a very noticeable transition here where before you're traveling kind of over the barren, yellowish, kind of orangey rock of the Ember Steppe and the Incendus mountain range. These cliffs are just a stark gray. Nothing really stands out. You do see some vegetation growing on them. A few trees kind of poking the top that you gather most of the forest around here has probably been harvested. And what trees remain are more or less decorative or help with the structure of the cliff. Just, don't want to over fucking forest. This is don't over forest, people. It's fine.
Amen.
Over forest everything.
Over forest everything. And then
More
where the
fracking.
oh god, where the two cliffs kind of come to a meeting point, you see right between them a small canyon that weaves, or not a small canyon, a large canyon that kind of slopes upwards, leading towards these grassy green fields that you had seen before. And nestled between them, built one side of the canyon to the other, is a fairly sizable wall, not quite towering, probably about 20-30 feet high, pretty substantial. The tower is probably only about 40-50 on it, and that's the big parts. You see the walls being lit by torches, and even now as the sun is going down, it appears like there's still a fairly steady file of people kind of queuing up to the front gates, where you see what appears to be about 4 guards kind of standing there and just checking people through, quickly inspecting any goods or wares that are being brought up from the Imperium. Security looks pretty tight, not necessarily unreasonably so, like they're not like detaining anyone at the door, but there's definitely an interest in keeping an eye on what is being kind of crossed across the border between the Imperium and the Kingdom of Eldris. Welcome to the city of Southwatch. Thank you for that sub.
All right. I guess this is where we begin. Let's go.
Alrighty. You kind of make your way down that hill, just on the main drag now, so it's a lot easier going. The horses aren't stumbling over bits of loose gravel. They find their way, and you trot right along. In about 5-10 minutes, you have reached the front gate, or back gate, the gates of the city, and
Right.
kind of take your place in this lineup as it's just slowly moving, and you see the guards checking over a couple of you see a couple more untoured looking individuals going in, not quite bandit per se, but definitely more vagrant in their appearance,
Right.
kind of get a bit more of a heavier once over, but they're still allowed through without much issue. And as your group approaches and waits your turn, you arrive, and the nearest guard to you, who is not currently holding a weapon, just has a long sword sheathed at his side. The 2 guards at the gate are currently holding halberds, however, and he is just kind of waves you forward. Right, so what's your business?
I'm personally in town to restock and see what there is for work around here.
Plenty of work to go around if you're willing to look for it, let me tell you.
Oh, I am willing to look.
He says, yep. Something tells me you're not the working in the farm type.
Not my forte, you might say.
Well, there's plenty of work to go around.
Excellent.
But the rest of you?
Well, this particular one, he has to go visit a temple. I think he
Just
said
waves at you a little bit.
Yeah, he took a vow of silence, and he needs to go to the temple in order to speak and say his prayers. And
Roll me a deception check.
there is like a half smile.
He did not take a vow of silence. There's no truth.
No. I am
Half smile. Okay.
There's like a half smile, like I am kind of fucking with this guy, and I am not hiding that I am kind of fucking with this guy.
Okay.
You have advantage on those, Stanislav, because you're.
Oh yeah, I do.
Because of the sword that has killed you 3 times this campaign.
Woo! There we go.
So as Otten kind of steps up and says this line, like he kind of looks you over and notices like you don't really have any like holy markings, like nothing that really pegs you as like a holy person per se. That makes you stand
he sees
out.
the moving snake tattoo on my because
that's
I
a
remember I
tattoo.
ripped the
That's
sleeves off of my.
It's a magic tattoo. That's not a holy symbol. But as he's kind of
Stanislav,
sizing you
like-
up and looking at you doubtfully, you kind of just you put your hands together and give a slight bow, and like you kind of come back up and you're like, no, I could hold it longer, and then you catch it and you come up and he's like, oh, all right.
Yeah,
I was silent. Say that.
Namaste. Yeah.
You know what? If more people took those, my job would be a lot easier. And what about you, little one? Your son?
He's under my charge. He's not my son, but found him. He's an orphan, and
All right.
Yeah.
That's very sad. Sorry to hear that.
Stanislav like covers his heart and like nods.
2 more questions. Roll me a deception check, by the way.
Another
which one of us?
You said he's an orphan.
I mean, aren't you? As far as I know, he is.
That's fair, actually. I will accept that. I will accept that. If you believe it, I believe it.
I mean, the guy who was with him was his guardian, but I've seen and heard nothing about parents. I'll roll a persuasion.
He did say,
It's the same damn modifier. It's a 7.
Yeah, he just kind of looks at you. He's like, He kind of leans into Gregory. You all right?
How about a 20?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You see, we gotta ask. A few people come up from the Imperium trying to bring up their property. That kind of thing doesn't fly here.
Oh, yo, it's a slave. Right.
Yeah.
No, good, bad, not us.
Final question. He kind of looks at your armor. I'm assuming you're not.
Let's just say this is a product of the last line of work I was in.
That's fine. Any affiliation to the Imperium we need to know about? It's not going to stop you getting in. Just means we'll keep a little bit closer eye on you.
Nothing beyond any contract they might hire me for.
So you're mercenary?
My allegiance is currently whoever gives me the most resources.
Yeah, so you're fucking mercenary. Sounds good.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Final question. What's with the golden horse? Is that yours? Gold man, gold horse.
Uh-huh.
Roger that. Well, if it's the temple you're looking for, head right in, take a right, follow that road all the way to the north wall. You'll find
Thank you.
Artemis.
What's your name there, boss?
Bertrand.
Thank you, Bertrand. You've been very helpful.
I do my best. Don't cause any trouble while you're here. This isn't the Imperium. We have little stricter laws. And
Appreciate.
don't take this the long way. You don't look like the wealthiest of folks.
I take that exactly perfectly. Let's go.
Have yourself a nice visit in Southwatch. And kind of steps
Stanislav does
aside.
another equally deep bow for a little less time.
Yeah.
Watching me.
As you're kind of walking past him, he leans over and like looks further in the gate. And you guys can see I brought up the town of Southwatch in the window now, so y'all can see it. You see like the gate here, and then looking in there, you notice it is still completely enclosed by walls, and there is a secondary gate even further in, next to two buildings that look kind of like barracks or like mess hall kind of area. You gather like a lot of the troops hang out by this gate in case there's any conflict coming from the south, and they need to get up on the defenses quickly. As you're kind of walking through, you notice another line of guards kind of doing a secondary check just in case on a couple people, and you see Bertrand just kind of yell, "They're all good. Just going through to the temple. Let them in." And you see the other guard just nodding as you approach, kind of just waves you past, almost like hurry the fuck up, like I got shit to do. And he just waves you through. As you make your way in, similar thing. The walls lead all the way up. You gather the entire center part of this stronghold is able to be closed off at any given time. Should anyone make it through each gate, it is not designed to be easy to cross into the kingdom of Eldris. As you're kind of making your way up, you see a crossroads. On your left is a iron gate that currently stands open. Two guards stationed. They don't appear to be stopping anyone. They're kind of just more like Crown's Guard. They're there for effect, and if they need to step in, they do. To the right, you see a similar thing. However, just around that corner, you do see a building with what appears to be smoke trickling out the roof, and you can faintly hear the sound of a hammer striking steel. Other than that, you don't see a whole lot. You do notice the massive kind of castle-esque stronghold building that is kind of guarding the northern gate of the town. And you gather that's where like the mayor, the guard master, like all the higher-ups would be living.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So Stanislav will just hold up his alphabet and say, "Going to temple. Take Ikesh. We'll let him know when done."
Don't want us to come with you?
I actually was going to say, I'm not doing talking again. That is not what I'm good at. I'm going with you because I need to make a couple stops, and I will probably need your assistance.
Okay.
And I want to make sure that you're okay. So let's make sure you're okay.
Alrighty.
He, like, rustles your hair.
As you make your way down the right path through the gate on the right, the guards kind of nod at you as you make your way past. They take a quizzical look at the golden horse and the golden man and the strange skin-colored orc with
To
antlers.
everybody. I'm doing this
just,
to everybody.
Peace be with you, and peace be with you, and peace be with you.
This
I love
is the
it.
best lie I've ever fucking told.
Yeah, it's so good. So as you make your way through
All of
there,
a
you
sudden-
see... Oh, go ahead.
It clues into Stanislav that once he gets his curse removed, he's going to have to remain quiet in this town, and that he has already committed to the bit too hard. And then he
Anyway.
just kind of quietly accepts it.
Yep. So as you enter that gate, you do see the forge ahead, and you just see a large sign that just says George's Forges on the front door. Quite well made, like fine ironwork, some nice filigree, and there's like a hammer or like an anvil with a hammer and a sword crossed over it. And you can hear from inside just the sound of someone working steel. On your right, as you come in, you notice the Last Watch Inn, which appears to be a fairly well-made, well-built, sturdy-looking, well-kept tavern. The sounds inside are still kind of at the quiet stage. You gather a lot of the workers are just now beginning to come in from the farms north of the walls, and like the locals are kind of coming back to town for the night. So you see people beginning to kind of make their way into the pub, but it certainly has not filled up yet. Apart from that, you notice just an array of different houses, mostly built like halfway up with stone and then the rest with wood. Very simple thatch roofing. Nothing like really stands out as like spectacular architecture per se, except maybe the stronghold, which is impressive in its sheer size. Whereas the Imperium itself was kind of more of a Middle Eastern style architecture, a little more fanciful, a lot more detail and beauty put into the work. Some buildings are decorated with mosaics. Here it is much more plain, simple, Very kind of like European, medieval kind of design to these buildings. You make your way through that town, kind of weaving. A few of the townsfolk give you weird looks as you make your way past, but none of them deem to stop you, nor do any of the guards you see along the way. And you realize for a small town, the guard presence here is rather substantial. There's definitely a presence. The streets are clean. You don't notice any like individuals sitting in gutters anywhere. Seems to be a fairly, maybe not prosperous town, but at least comfortable for the residents within. And you gathered, like, based on the size of the houses, this is probably not the richest district in the area. This is maybe where a lot more of the farmers live as opposed to the higher ranking soldiers and whatnot. And as you make your way up that road, you finally get to the northern part of town where you see a large square building with just a pillar holding up each corner. And it's kind of an open air type building. There's not really any specific walls on it. It's just a ceiling held up by pillars on each corner. It's not a large building per se. Probably about the size of your average, like, 2-bedroom apartment in total square footage. It's not very big. You do see a couple people kind of just trotting around. Someone's kind of wiping down one of the statues within. And as you approach the door, you notice an older looking woman. Where did I put that? Yeah, you notice an older looking dwarven woman, kind of long grayish hair, braided into simplistic braids for a dwarf, but still beautiful in their own right. They're not as intricate as you might have seen on some of the younger ones, but there's still an effort put into her appearance at this point. And even though she is quite old, you notice under the robes there's still strength there. There's like, she still carries herself tall, strong. You can see bulges in the muscles where it looks like at one point in her life this woman was a fairly yoked individual. And she's just, you see her wearing a holy symbol of Torm. If any of you want to, you can make me a religion check. Feel free.
I mean,
Nope.
Nope.
let me
And
double
nope.
check. I'm pretty sure my religion modifier, it's 2. Let's roll. It's 19.
Oh shit!
I was gonna say, with your, maybe not within your mercenary group necessarily, but perhaps within others, and with your time around soldiers, you've met a fair amount of followers of Torm. He's the god of courage and self-sacrifice. So a lot of people tend to follow the belief structure who end up in the army, end up working as mercenaries for a good cause and like avoiding banditry. It's very much a religion based on using your own strength in whatever form that may be, whether it be physical or just emotional strength, to better the lives of others. Often when it is not always easy on yourself.
I bristle internally, or not necessarily internally, but externally, and I'm like, just like, in my head, I'm thinking, great, another fucking religion that promotes more warriors to die. Great.
That's fair. And as you kind of approach the stairs, you notice the woman kind of just looks at you and says, "Welcome. What can I do for you today?" She's just smiling. It's not quite ear to ear, but it's definitely not a customer service face. She's genuinely happy to see some new faces coming into the temple today.
This one opened a book, and that book rendered him mute. I've been telling him, and then there's a giant grin on my face, and they're like, I've been telling everyone that he took a vow of silence, and he's been committing to the bit. It's been delightful.
I can tell you're
He
not
holds
a
it.
follower then.
Yeah, he Stanislav holds up his paper. Am cursed. Can't speak.
And you said he read a book.
He opened a book. I don't even know if he fucking read the thing.
Are you a follower of a faith yourself, my friend?
Stanislav, like, this kind of ponderous look comes across his face.
How long have I known you, Stanny? Like 3 weeks? In the time that I've spent with him,
about 3.5, 4 weeks, yeah, I'd say.
in the almost month that I have known this particular creature, the only thing he worships is his abs.
Yeah, Stanislav just holds up his paper, still figuring it out.
We can't all find our path easily now, can we? Welcome. I'm sure that's something we can help you with.
Stanislav like kind of just does the bow thing now, and then like catches himself doing it and stops.
No need for that here.
He like apologizes silently.
Otten's just smiling about as big as he fucking can. Oh, I should have done
Please.
that much earlier.
Come with me. I will summon the other priests, and we'll see if we can't get
Well,
yourself sorted.
I might, catch into a ball of flame if I step any further forward in. So just hit me up when you're done, Stanny.
I assure you, you'll be fine.
I'm gonna come too. Mostly because I want to watch, and because just in case, because you guys are awesome, but scary too. Let's go.
Go ahead, Craig.
She kind of like leads you inwards and goes over to one of the other clerics who's there. Kind of leans in and whispers something. You see that person shuffle off. It's kind of a younger male, looks maybe in his teen years. Probably just a helper around the temple. Not quite ready to be a warrior, but seemingly has big dreams of it. And he kind of scutters off to go get together some other things and starts gathering a number of books and different candles and incense, and kind of begins bringing them to the center of the room. Meanwhile, the priestess, who seems to be definitely like the leader of this place, starts kind of leading you around while they're setting up the ritual and everything, and just asks, "Tell me, what do you know of our temple and our god?"
Same.
I stayed outside. Even though she
Yep.
told me I
Oh, I
could
know.
come, I stayed
Oh,
outside.
I know. She noticed. It did not go unnoticed.
He took stock.
Yeah, no, she definitely like, all right, well, whatever, fine. Well, as some of you might know, our temple specifically is dedicated to the worship of Torm, who, as you might know, is the god of courage, self-sacrifice, and protection over others, mostly. And those he blesses with his gifts, such as myself in my younger days, and a couple of the individuals you see here usually take their oath to protect those that are unable to protect themselves and give their lives for that cause if need be. Others seek to better society in other ways, but all ways that take courage.
Stanislav holds up his paper and spells out, "Sounds like what I do."
That remains to be seen. But, as your feet have brought you here, I can only hope that you've been brought here for a reason. Beyond just, trying to cure that curse of you. It won't be long. But come with me, I'll show you around a little bit. Kind of leads you, takes you down to like each different statue and a couple holy relics that have been preserved and stored. And kind of just goes over the explanations, like this was the gauntlet of Champion of Torm from 200 years ago, that kind of thing. And at the end
Stanislav
of the
is fully enamored by this. Like,
yeah, there's a couple
Same.
weapons, like very old, ancient-looking weapons that have seemingly like were probably made hundreds of years ago, if not more. And as she kind of approaches the end of the room, you see two statues standing side by side, kind of just overlooking the temple protectively. You see a woman, long hair, no idea the color as it's just portrayed in the simple gray stone you see so many of the buildings here. Clad in armor with just a warhammer in her hand, kind of looking over the brim of a shield with a look of not necessarily fury, but defiance. Pure defiance on her face. And as you walk past, you see just a plaque depicting Lady Jenna gave her life for the protection of others. And you just take a moment and gaze into the eyes that have been so well carved that you can feel the emotion coming off of them. And she leads you to the other statue. And you see this one labeled with Sir JT the Just. As you're kind of just looking at it, and you look up, and you see, similarly, this time holding what appears to be a large flail. Just in one hand. The other hand empty, no shield. Standing there, fully muscled. Similar look on his face. Though not quite a look of defiance per se, more a look of, I don't want to say fear, because that's not it, desire, possibly, either to protect someone or something. And he's just standing there with the morning star kind of just dangling These are two of our most devout, or these were two of our most devout followers. Unfortunately, when the Imperium last saw fit to attack us, well, they were the only two who could stand the line and hold long enough for the people outside to make their way in.
Wow.
As such, they've been immortalized here. And they keep watch over us, and story tells if the town is ever in desperate need, these two will rise again in their monolithic forms and take to protecting us once more. But I've never heard of anything like that in all my years of worshipping Torm. But with the gods, nothing is exactly out of the question, let's say. She just continues leading you around, takes you through the last little bit, and you gather, like, the best part of the tour was, like, up until those statues. The rest is, like, oh, here's, like, a tooth. Or, like literal, like, very, like, Catholic-style Christian fucking holy relics. Like, not necessarily, like, you're not necessarily sure how important these really are at this point, but, like, hey.
There's a cup, probably.
There's a cup, there's some, like, finger digits, and, like, all kinds of different things. Like, it's a thing. And as she kind of finishes the tour, it seems like they've mostly set up, and they kind of bring you, and she says, please sit in the center. Caught you, little fucker. There's so many mosquitoes in the house. It's not cool.
So bad this year.
She kind of just brings you to the center, has you sit, and the rest of the priests kind of gather in a circle around you, and all just kind of put their hands out and begin speaking in a language you don't understand. You're not sure what it might be, per se. What languages do you speak?
Celestial and Common.
Yeah, so you don't understand it.
I think that's it. Yeah, that's it.
What language do I have? Elvish? Would it be Yeah, no, I got Elvish.
Yeah, no, there's nothing about it you understand. It just seems like holy prayers in some kind of ancient language of some kind. And as they're kind of sitting there, they spend a few minutes casting this, and as the spell, it kind of begins to manifest, all the hands begin to glow, the power kind of flows back to her, and she just reaches out and places a hand on your chest. And you see the energy flow from her hand into yours. And as that happens, we're gonna take our break for today.
Woohoo!
Yeah. So
Danny got his groove back.
Yeah, we've been going for about an hour 20. Well, we don't know if it works yet. It just seemed like a good place to stop.
Danny got his groove back.
It's probably gonna work. Anyway, so I want to thank everyone who's come in so far. Y'all are the absolute best. We're taking a little bit of an earlier break. Probably gonna be not the longest session in the world tonight, as we're kind of just exploring a new town. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. Please do stick around. We'll see y'all in just a few. Love you guys. We'll be back in just a bit. Catch you later. Hello, everybody. We are back. Oh, we got the whole outfit on now. What's up, Steven Tyler? How's it going?
Casual outfit change. What do you mean?
How is
Did you just, like, put on another forehead?
We love it. We love it here. Thank you, everyone, for coming in. I appreciate you, Brooks, Hell's Court Mystics. Thanks for handling those shout-outs. We're going to hop right back into it here. We made it to the town of Southwatch without much incident. Fortunately, our bandit negotiation did not go quite as planned, and he was quickly relieved of his head by Stanislav. However, the group made their way here, got through the gate okay with a light warning to not cause any trouble while they were present, and we went to break just as Stanislav was sitting in a circle of priests, all of whom were kind of channeling their divine power to try and aid in this curse removal. As the High Priestess reached out, her hand kind of emanating this golden aura of light, pressed it to your chest, and you saw the light kind of just absorb. And as it does, I'm going to head and roll a d20. Not a high DC. I'm just curious. I'm going to do it this way. Okay, so yeah, you're good. As the spell takes hold, you feel, first and foremost, the deep-rooted connection to the weapon that hangs on your back. The seeming grip it has over your very person. Inability to even put this weapon down. You feel that connection diminish almost immediately. And even as that is happening, you feel your mouth, the muscles in your tongue begin to, I'm not gonna say like come back to life per se, but you feel more capable of forming words now than you had before. And it seems like the spell has successfully taken hold and relieved you of the curses that had so troubled you.
Did it work?
It would appear
Oh.
so.
I can talk again! It's the best thing. Sorry for yelling. I'm so excited.
It's a temple. Keep it down.
I'm sorry. But, oh my goodness, thank you so much. You have no idea how much trouble it is not being able to speak.
You just hear in the distance, "Vow of silence, Stani!"
We already told her that you know that was hers. It's fine.
I assume one of the like monks or whatever walking by just gives me a death glare, and I'm just smiling. I'm like,
Yep.
I'm fucking.
You straight up get like a shh.
Like a librarian.
Yeah, like the Ghostbusters librarian. Like, and as you kind of, the priestess looks down at you and says, "We're happy to be of assistance."
Please, what can I do for this? I mean, there's got to be some sort of payment that I can make. Yes.
We do accept donations. There's always maintenance to be done around the temple, but something tells me you're a group who's apart from getting yourself cursed a number of times, at least somewhat capable. Yes.
I mean, we like to think so. Yeah.
Well, why don't you take a day, spend some time around town, relax, come back and see me tomorrow. We may have some work for you to do. It's optional, but the work's there.
All right. I think our other friend back there might like the sound of that as well.
We'll pay, if need be, but favor for a favor.
Of course. No, I'd be more than happy to help.
I'm joking. Self-sacrifice and all. But if you're looking to help out around here, there has been a number of troubling reports coming in. It seems the dead aren't sleeping as well these days. But
oh shit! Interesting.
Yeah. Well, strange things happening all around. It seems.
Sorry for cursing.
We'll let it slide. We're not exactly here worshipping the god of manners, are we?
Very true.
Come see us tomorrow. Spend some time around town.
All right.
Get some rest.
Well, thank you for this. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me.
Well, we'll see what use we can make of you.
All right. Let's go, Greg.
Have a good one.
As he like runs towards Stan, like he's just been in awe this whole time. Just stops in front of the priest, just thank you, salutes, and then just
Nice.
Make your way
Alrighty.
out of the temple. They begin kind of cleaning up the remnants of the ritual and stuff that they had been putting together for you. If anyone spoke Dwarvish, they were speaking Dwarvish.
Makes sense.
What would you like to do? The day is yours. The town is at your disposal. You have a suggestion for a future job, but
Yeah, I'm gonna tell Otten about that. Yeah, so like, so it worked. I can talk again. I know you're not gonna like the sound of that, but you better get used to me again, buddy.
Actually, I need your voice right now. So at the moment, it's an absolute delight. You could not. I cannot understate how happy I am that you're
There he is,
speaking
he's
again.
back.
Oh, actually, I need your voice very shortly. So I could not be happier at the timing. Your ability to speak is music to my ears.
All right, where are you thinking?
Well, first stop, let's go to the blacksmith. I'd like to buy a lot of gear.
Same.
A lot of gear.
I need to. Oh, by the way, they also got rid of that the connection I had to that fucking sword.
Ah,
I'm actually gonna take it out, and so the sword was cursed. I couldn't put it down or give it away, and I'm gonna try and just drop it on the floor, just for a sec.
No problem. Falls right out of your hand and just clangs onto the kind of rocky road beneath your feet.
It also made me more inclined to lie, which I'm not really a big fan of, and yeah, so shit, that's gone.
Yeah, you can unattune to that now and remove your advantage for deception checks.
Okay.
Ding.
So, we're making our way to the forges.
Making our way. Yeah.
Da-da-da-da.
Gregory, I'm gonna need the gear that you had earlier that I gave you to put in the crate. We're gonna need that.
Absolutely. He goes and starts pulling it out, and as soon as it hits its apex, he just kind of
So he just drops it kind of on the street outside the temple and stuff.
Stanny picks that up.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's just carrying an arm full of gear at this point.
No problem.
Let's roll. And yeah, so I'm gonna go and to the blacksmith and
No sweat.
Mm-hmm. Same.
So, make your way back down the road southward. Sorry, I said it again. And eventually find your way back to the building with the sign that said George's Forges. And you make your way inside. Where you see just kind of a older looking human. Probably in his 50s or 60s at this point. Gray hair, but tight muscles in the arms and shoulders, where you can see he's just been working this forge and working the steel for probably the entirety of his life.
So he's got blacksmith enhanced old man power.
Pretty much. He's a pretty jacked old man. He's just kind of working away lightly on something right now. It looks like he's maybe just putting together a horseshoe or something that you fancy, but
Are there wares displayed?
yeah, there's shelves of weapons, fairly basic looking in their construction, very practical, form over function. There's not a lot of flashiness going on. These are weapons made to kill, and they don't care if you look good while you're doing it. They are finely made, arguably expertly made. This is definitely master craftsman level. Not quite masterwork per se, but you can tell the man knows his stuff.
Right. I'm gonna cast detect magic.
Go ahead. What are the components for that?
Visual and somatic.
Okay.
Verbal and somatic.
So as you start casting, the old man hitting his hammer just kind of looks up at you. Do you mind?
Oh, he stops doing it. Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I was just trying to get a knife for your finer wares, but I guess I could have just asked.
You could just ask me. Yeah, that would have been nice. He's kind of a very surly old man. He was in the middle of something, and not only did you disturb him, but you walked into his store casting magic. So he's immediately taken off guard by you a little bit.
Right. Sorry about that. We actually have a lot of business that we want to talk to you with.
Oh, well, business I can do. And he just fucking quenches the horseshoe he was working on and leaves it on the anvil. Kind of cracks his knuckles, works out a couple kinks from his shoulder. So what can I do you for? What do you need?
We got a piece of gear here that I think you should not have any trouble selling to anyone who wants actual protection, and I'd like to make an exchange.
For what in
Steady.
particular?
Would you put it down in front of the good forger?
Yeah, I'm gonna give him the half plate. Set it down for him to inspect.
Okay, he's just going to take it and he's looking it over, kind of spins it over, notices a couple hard impact points in the armor, a couple places where some strikes may have gone through. He says, well, I can fix it up, but yeah, no, I mean, if you're looking to sell it, I can pay for it, or we can trade for something in the shop. I'm always looking to buy. I tend to prefer crafting things myself over selling another, craftsman's work, but I'm not against trading. There's a general store you might have a little better luck at, but see if we can find you a deal of some kind. What do you need? Are you looking for gold or are you looking for gear?
Gear, and I'm going to take. And I sent you the list. Basically, it's all that list minus the horses.
Yeah, any basic gear he has, like anything
Okay.
basic from the player's handbook, DM guide, or whatever.
So it's
you
going
guys
to
have
be.
access to. If you want to buy that, just tell me how much you're spending, and you can add whatever to your inventory. I trust you guys.
So it'll be about 550 gold worth of
goodies.
Of a mixture of heavy crossbows and longbows. I'll probably do 3 longbows, 2 heavy crossbows, 5 pikes, 5 long swords, 5 short swords, 5 shields, 3 leather, 2 hide, 500 arrows, and 500 bolts.
Boy, making a militia?
That is kind of the idea, yeah.
I mean, why are you making a militia?
Well, all right. That's a pretty big order to fill. Clear me out. You guys, you building an army?
Not exactly.
I mean, listen, I've lost. This is not my armor, and I need to be prepared in case I lose more gear on the job.
Maybe you should stop losing your armor.
It happens all the time, man.
As you can see,
Really?
In my line of work, it tends to get scratches and things like that, and making it into town isn't always easy.
So it was damage. You didn't lose it.
I mean, is there a difference when something's not operational
There is.
anymore?
Lost implies you don't know where it is anymore, young man. I'm not here to argue semantics with you, but
Yeah, you idiot, and he gives Otten a shove.
Just kind of.
it's
Okay,
a little,
fine, whatever.
little
I
harsh,
succeed.
but it's fine.
Now, I believe that, given the dinged up nature of the armor, the order that I've placed is probably approximately equal to the value of that armor.
Yeah, you're looking around 500 gold for all the gear, and I'll buy this for, say, 400. Pretty beat up.
I mean, what do you think, Stanislav? I'm gonna pass it to the guy.
Pass it to the charisma character.
What do you think,
Well-
Stanislav? Is this a good deal?
I mean, we also have this really good great sword here. I mean, these two've got to be worth all that.
There's another 45, 50 gold on the top, I'd say. About that much. Maybe
I'm
less.
not-
All right. Well,
He looks at it. Nothing all that fancy about it, if I'm being honest with you, my friend.
It doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to be worth something.
Yeah. Give you about 100 gold. For all
So,
that. 400 and 100 for that. So, if you're willing to trade those two pieces, I'll give you the rest of that shit.
okay,
Easy
I'll
enough.
take it.
Equal value for equal value. I can fix that great sword up and sell it for a penny. The
Excellent.
armor's a maybe, but I'm sure some idiot will have use for it.
Absolutely. I guess I have 2 questions. Where is there somewhere that would sell me a magic item such as a box or a bag that would hold a large quantity of things?
I mean, you can check Servants over there.
I will check servants.
Yeah.
And is there
He's a bit of a prickly customer. If you're gonna go in there, I'd just like I'm the nice one in town.
Understood.
got
And
it. Yep.
your disposition is delightful.
I appreciate you saying so.
Thank you for your help. I will return for the order. I assume you're going to need to bag it, so I will be back.
I mean, the shelves are right there. Just grab it yourself.
Okay, I'll be back in a moment when I have
Yeah,
something
like,
to put it in.
Only the forge
Right.
is behind his like behind the counter, like he has a back room for the forge and the smithing area, and like the rest is just displayed on shelves in his shop. He's
Gotcha.
like, put it together, put it in a pile, and take what you get.
No, I'm looking for a new weapon. Something that's particularly powerful. That just looks like the right place.
Got a couple things. I have a couple enchanting friends who worked on something. You look like a big type. You're gonna be swinging something hefty, I'm guessing, yeah?
Yes, I like to use a shield though when I fight.
Oh.
But I mean, if the wares are right, I mean, I can learn new fighting styles. I'm always willing to do that.
I can look around for you. Give me a second. I'm gonna see what I got. And he kind of just like shuffles his way to the back room. He's got a little bit of a hump in his back, just from years bent over. Like he's pretty tall, so like you can see under his anvil, he's raised it up a bit too. He's a pretty tall guy, even for an older
couple
man. So
planks of wood underneath there.
Pretty much like a couple just like square stones like that they would have used to build the wall, kind of thing. He said, you want something you can use one hand, or do you want something you can use one hand and two hands? Like, anything in particular?
The second thing you said there.
Okay, so one or two hands. You just hear him like kind of rummaging through some equipment. You hear a couple things getting shuffled around, sound of a sword hitting the ground or something metal. He's like, shit! And after about 10 minutes, he comes out holding two things in one hand. He has what appears to be just a simple, I believe, battle axe. 1 second, just checking the stats. Make sure that's the right one. Yeah. Well, we got this. This will do you with two hands or with one. Pretty strong. Got a little bit of an enchantment on it, make you hit a little bit harder. Over here, and he's gonna pull out his other hand, and in this one, it's like kind of, I guess, yeah, no, it would be essentially a glaive. It's quite a hefty head on the glaive, but the handle itself is quite short, almost like a half glaive. Still counts as a glaive per se, but like it's a little more squat. Maybe made for a dwarf or something smaller. This one I don't necessarily think you're gonna be able to use with one hand, but you can reach a little further with it, and well, it's pretty damn hard. If you hit real well, it'll just put a little something extra on it for you.
I think as a person know what that is, but yeah.
The glaive, about 400 gold pieces. Pretty useful tool. Magical, serve you well. Battle axe, gonna run you about 1,000. It's only because you've already made a nice trade with me.
Alright,
so out of character, it's a +1 battle axe. About the same you're using with the sword, but not going to kill you every time you fuck up a swing. The other would be a vicious glaive.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Well, I'm possibly also looking to trade this and potentially get something a little bit more powerful. Let me check out that other place that you mentioned, and if they don't have anything that I like, I'll come right back. And I like that axe.
Okay. So you're looking to sell that?
Or trade it, yeah.
Special
got
about
a pretty. It's got almost the exact same enchantment as the battle axe.
Have a look.
No problem. Passes it over to him.
And it just holds it and inspects it for a second.
Do I see him start casting investigation?
You mean identify?
Or identify, yeah.
No, doesn't seem like he has the capability.
Okay.
I'm rolling just a basic insight check. It's a finely made weapon. Something kind of special about it. You said it's enchanted, the same as that.
Yeah, exactly the same. At least it feels like. And Stanislav picks up the axe and kind of just looks at it.
Roll me a
swings
deception check, please.
Not at advantage. Not
Nope.
with the +7.
Nope.
I need to take that off.
Yep.
To do customize. Not proficient. That's it. Yep.
Sure, that's everything about it. Seems like you're not telling me something.
I mean, it likes to hold on to you. And it, like
to
some
hold
tried to
on
take it.
you.
Some tried to take it from you. It's not going to happen. But I mean, if you don't like it, that's fine.
I like it. Tell you what, you don't find what you're looking for over there, and I'm sure he's got a weapon or two, but nothing close to what you're gonna find here. I'll have one of my buddies come over and have a look at it, and we'll see if we can't figure out exactly what's going on with it.
No
And
problem.
If I want it,
I
I'll
mean,
buy it.
And if there's anything you can do to take that effect off of it as well, I mean that's cool too. If your buddy could do that.
We'll have to see about that. Go about your business. I'll be here. At least, looks outside. It's getting a little late. I'll be in tomorrow.
All right. Well, I'll be back in like 30 seconds if I can get the bag to collect everything that we traded.
I'll stay open long enough for you to come back.
I'll be as quick as I can, and I'm going to take a moment and then use my 90 feet to dash over to the other shop.
Whoa!
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna
watch as Auden
walk
just
out.
phew, out the door, like hella just stupid fast. The shopkeep's like, y'all are a weird bunch.
We get that a lot, and I start walking.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Come on back.
Yes, sir.
Can't find what you're looking for. Nice to meet you, young one. What are you doing or hanging out? Whatever. He's just gonna go back over to what he was doing. Start kind of putting like the forge to bed for the night. He's getting ready to wrap up for sure.
It'll be a fair question, like everyone in this town will be asking.
Yeah, pretty much.
Why is that child with you?
Yeah, why are you traveling with a little boy? That's weird.
Mind your business.
You're gonna have to start stabbing people, just for asking.
Badly.
I'm gonna hop on over to the other shop.
Okay, so this one you're not exactly sure where it is, but you gather based on the fact you didn't see it on this side of the town. Probably safe to assume it's on the other one. You make your way through the other gates and are now met with. Well, the homes are. Some of them are in fact smaller than the other side, but you can tell these are like single family dwellings, whereas opposed to the larger buildings on the other side were like more kind of splits where multiple families were living in.
Right.
The buildings appear to be more made of stone than wood. They do still have the thatch roofing, but the walls are made almost entirely of stone with like a single kind of piece of wood going around the top where the thatch is attaching to it. But seems to be a little bit of a wealthier side of town. As you kind of look to the north, you see a secondary wall within the town that you can just barely on the other side of the gate kind of make out some like lush greenery and some trees that have been planted for decor sake. You kind of wander for a bit until you see what appears to be kind of the largest building in this area, and as you approach it, you see a kind of a sign hanging by the street leading up the path there that says Servants' Stash, General Goods.
Okay. I will head inside.
Okay. It's fairly basically made building, all stone. And as the door opens, you're greeted with just a barrage of stuff. Like, this is as much a general store as it is a hoard.
Right.
About 15 seconds later, Stanislav walks in.
Yeah.
He's not hauling ass.
Yeah, same thing. It's just very basic. And as you open the door, you hear a little bell ring, and no one really comes to the counter to greet you or anything. It's just kind of quiet.
All this stuff.
I have money.
As you say, as the word, like you barely finish the word money, and you hear from behind just a stack of paper where there's like appears to be a wall, and you notice there's like a little small hallway that kind of goes up. You hear a door open and a pair of feet just run out to the front, and you're greeted by what appears to be
Love them already.
oh my god. You see nothing.
A capitalist.
Apart from a very pointy feather kind of sticking out over the top of the counter as what appears to be small footsteps rush towards you, and then seemingly out of nowhere, a figure just kind of jumps into frame, standing at about chest level. He's like, "Hello, what can I do for you?"
Hi there. You wouldn't happen to have a bag or a box or something of that nature that would, I don't know, hold large quantities of items?
Let me see. Then he kind of goes back and just like, again, the feathers kind of just poking out, and then that disappears too, and you see stuff just kind of getting thrown from behind the counter and stuff. Where's the bag of holding? How much is a bag?
This is a money-motivated motherfucker.
Oh yeah, no, he
And
loves it.
as someone who literally played the Monopoly man, I do appreciate that.
He did legit play the Monopoly Man. It was amazing.
He did. It was
I
incredible.
love that.
Yup. One sec.
He was,
40,000 for Park Place.
he was a sick motherfucker. If he had lasted long enough, he would have taken dental and made it fucking.
Yeah. No, you did try to get a dental thing. He kind of like comes up. He's holding what appears to be a fairly simple, albeit worn, backpack. I think this will do what you're looking for. I think this is exactly what you need. And I'm willing to part with it for a measly sum of 4,000 gold pieces. You see just like a little shimmer in the tooth as he's smiling at you. What do you say?
4,000 gold pieces.
Yes, finest discount for a new customer. He's just sitting with his hands, chin kind of on his hands.
I'm going to say nothing. I'm going to fold my fingers. I'm going to maintain eye contact. Prolonged eye contact. Prolonged eye contact. Prolonged eye.
He doesn't break.
I don't believe you.
You looking for a date or something?
No, not in my line of work.
Well, must be pretty lonely. But you said you had money.
I do have money. I don't believe that particular item is worth that much.
Pretty sure it is. Roll me a persuasion check.
Okay. Would it be persuasion or insight to see if he's lying?
It's insight to see if he's lying, persuasion to try to get him to knock some off of it.
I'm gonna do both. Insight and then persuasion.
Oh no.
Okay, well, mixed results, I guess.
Okay.
I think he might be telling the truth, but also
It seems like he's telling the truth, at least for what he's been able to determine. Like,
But also give us a
that's
discount.
what he thinks he's selling. Yeah, no, I mean, you gather he may not be on the up and up about the discount. That just might be what he charges for it.
got you. But I rolled a 17 in persuasion, so I don't know if that balances out.
3,800. The final offer. Alternatively, if you're interested, and he's going to reach down and pull out, like, almost a fanny pack. This will do something similar, but not hold quite as much. I'm willing to part with that for 1,800 gold pieces. He doesn't move, just the chin on the hands, kind of never. Anytime he shoots you a deal, it's back to that. He just kind of stares at you.
Okay. I don't think I'm gonna have enough. Okay, that's fine.
No? No money after all.
I mean, I have money, just not that amount of money.
Well, these kind of things don't come cheap. I've only got this one and this one. And...
I appreciate that. And I will, like, flash a couple platinum pieces just to show I wasn't lying. It's just unfortunately...
So you do have money, just not enough.
Something like that.
I'm sorry.
Thank you for your time. It is what it is.
But if there's anything else you're looking for, I do have other magical goods. And he points to like a shelf that's like poorly labeled magical goods.
At this point, I
with a
turn
crooked
and
sign.
Stanislav is coming in, and I'm
Actually,
he might be your guy. I'll be back. I will see you later, Stanny. And I'm gonna run to the stables.
Okay, so Otten, you have no idea where the stables are. You haven't
Nope.
asked. We'll get to
But
that.
I am fast.
So as Otten just bolts out the door, the
you
man's
get
like,
lost quickly.
"What a weird fellow! I thought he said he had money. Well, it's unfortunate. I hope you've come with more. What can I
Don't
do
worry,
for you?"
we're all weird fellows. Yeah, I'm looking for some kind of good magical weapon. I was hoping you would have something like that.
I've got a couple. Nothing too fancy, but I've got a couple.
Well,
One
show
sec.
me what you got.
And he goes.
Show me what you got.
And you just see his kind of little gnome self walk around the counter, and like even for a gnome, this man is short. This is a little old guy, and he walks over to a shelf and kind of just like reaches behind it and begins pulling out like this fucking massive wooden studded great club. There's like, it's just a wooden, it looks like it was carved from like a fucking stick, but like a hefty one, and there's just a band of iron around the end with little like spikies on it, and he kind of just like and it's like kind of on his back. He turns and just starts dragging it across the floor one step at a time. And you see the metal spikes just leaving like 2 grooves in the fucking wood floor of his shop. He's like, I've got this for you.
I'm gonna walk over to him and grab it.
Thank you. It's rather heavy. You could do some damage with that, let me tell you.
Is this one-handable?
I do not believe so.
It's a great club, yeah.
It is a great club, yeah, 2-handed only.
So I'll pick it up with one hand because I'm capable of doing so. It's not like actually wielding it. Like,
yeah, if you wanted to wield it one-handed, you'd
Holy
be
shit.
at disadvantage with it. Is how I would rule that. But
I'm not necessarily looking for something that I can just turn take big wild swings at somebody. I'm looking for something with maybe a little bit more accuracy, sharpness. I like things that cut a lot.
Perhaps I have something. And he goes over to the shelf, and this time just like reaches down and plucks up like a very small dagger, like this fucking big. Puts it down on the thing. Just gestures to it and smiles at you.
It's interesting. I'll take a look at it.
Pretty nice dagger. As you unsheath it, you just kind of see like a shimmer across the blade. That's kind of just a faint wisp of magical essence. Not sure what it does. It's definitely an enchanted dagger of some kind.
Do you happen to know what this does?
I've spent a little time playing with it myself, let's say. He just grabs it and like throws it into the wall and then just back to his hand.
Interesting. Doesn't Torn have one of those?
I think Otten found one at some point and then got rid of it. Was the dagger of returning? No, you left it in someone's forehead or some shit with a note attached to it. The notes in people's foreheads is actually a very common Otten thing. You definitely, you left the dagger in the
horrifying
camp.
Trope.
Yeah,
When you
because I
snuck
said,
into
and I had said, it's okay, I'll get it back tomorrow. That's right.
And then you never did because it was just left there.
Well, ambush, yeah.
So yeah, it is a dagger of returning.
That's interesting.
That's about it.
How much do you want for that thing?
He says, 1 second, he says, checking his price checker. I do believe that's an uncommon. So that one? 500 gold pieces. It's quite useful. Very good if you're losing ammunition all the time. You don't look particularly
I have a friend who
some javelins on it. Yeah.
I have a friend who could use that. I think that would be very helpful for him.
Was it the friend with no money?
No.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
I mean, he'd be good with that too, but we have another friend who really likes knives.
Fair enough. Well, it's the club or the dagger, I'm afraid.
I'll give you 450 for it.
Roll me a persuasion check.
$21.
Deal. And he just slaps it down right in front of you. It's all yours.
Hey.
I'm gonna take out 45 platinum.
Yep. You see his eyes just light up as you stack it on the table in front of him.
I'm gonna put it in at like 10, 10, 10, 10, and 5. just for him.
Immediately like opens a bag at his waist and just arms the whole stack into the bag.
How about me?
Well, thank you for doing business. Is there anything else I can get you today?
Unfortunately,
we have many fine wares.
I mean, do you mind if I cast a little spell and just have a look around?
Depends what the spell is, I'm afraid.
It's so that I can see magic things.
Well, sure, why not?
All right, I'm gonna cast Detect Magic now with permission, because I'm learning.
Consent, please.
And yeah, I do that.
Okay. So you activate as you cast Detect Magic. There are a number of things that kind of perk up your attention. The club, first of all, gives off a faint magical aura. It's plus pretty much just a enchanted great club. Probably a +1 or +2. Based on the price you gather, a +1. There's the dagger. There's also what appears to be 3 scrolls on the shelf in the magical goods section. And you notice in the magical goods section, only about 4 or 5 things are magical. Even maybe less.
I just kind of look at that, look at him, and don't say anything and start looking back at it.
Yeah, and there's actually 4 scrolls, not 3. And that's the only other things in the room apart from the club, the dagger, and a small pendant he is wearing on his person.
What does that pendant give off?
It would tell you
School of Magic.
School.
Yeah.
So counter divination, essentially. So I guess divination, whatever spell school you'd use to counter divination magic. I don't know.
Evocation?
No, evocation's fire. I would say it's probably in the same school. Like that's just a more powerful thing. You gather it's something to maybe prevent someone from keeping tabs.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't look like you have anything that would be up my alley that I could use. Those look interesting, but not the type of hell to, be able to use one.
Well, what about you, little man? Anything of interest to you?
I just look up at Stan and I'm just like, I kind of say like,
Is there anything in here that you think I would like that you saw?
I mean, do you know how to use scrolls?
Kinda, yeah.
Point at the 4 that are on that rack.
Ooh,
okay. And kind of like jostles himself over really excitedly and just goes right to them and just opens up one without even asking.
It explodes in your face. No. As you kind of go over to it and you say, oh yes, so you found my scrolls. Yes, we've only a few left. We've recently sold quite a few to a couple enterprising individuals who are leaving town to do some work for me. However, there are 4 left. And he kind of points them out. He just goes through them. One is a scroll of Beast Bond. The other is a scroll of Disguise Self. A scroll of Unseen Servant. And the 4th one, which is giving off a slightly more powerful magical aura, is a scroll of Lesser Restoration.
I can do that.
Same.
Sure, I can.
Interesting. Gregory's kind of like looking through them all, and he's trying his best to discern. He's a very rudimentary wizard, but as he's talking, his hand kind of goes into the toy box, and when it comes out, it's just covered in purple and pink hair, and he's just kind of.
What are you keeping in there?
Oh yeah. Whenever I go into stores, this little guy likes to kind of come out.
And then from the hair, you just see a little tiny purple, like, looks like a nerd. Like, you know those nerd, the logo mascot? It looks like that.
Oh, I'm familiar.
Kind of like pokes his head out and goes back in. It's like guidance. I'm casting guidance on myself. So I just kind of like wipe the hair on my shoulder and he's just there.
It's kind of nasty.
Yeah, but he feels better when he's here during like anything involving money.
That's fair. So,
yeah.
The 3 go for about 115 gold pieces per. The 4th one is about 230. If that's what you're interested in.
And, yeah, I mean, that sounds fair to me.
And then you just hear coming from the hair, just...
I guess I have to ask you to lower the price, please. Please?
Roll me a persuasion check. What does that thing do?
It's guidance.
Oh my god. Okay, so go ahead and roll me an insight check.
Huh. Okay, and roll. +2, so a 21.
Well, I'll tell you what. As you and your friend, guardian, I don't know, have already, or at least
we're best of buddies,
spent a sizable amount of money here. I suppose I could part with, say, knock 10 gold off the price of each of them. Best I can do.
This is 105 gold.
Deal. 225 for the other one.
I just kind of want this one right here, and I'm
Point to Beast Bond.
Absolutely. Sold.
Oh,
well, it's sold after you've given me the money, of course.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
And he just goes in and gives him all of his money. He just like literally, he kind of like opens the box and kind of like he's emptying a piggy bank. He's just.
Thank you.
After you stop shaking the money out, he's still kind of like shaking his head, trying to see if more comes out. Once again, quickly counts it because like Ken just poured it out and he's not sure if he trusts it, and then realizing all the money is there, right?
Oh yeah.
I'll insight check you, motherfucker. I'll do it. Do it right
IRL
now.
insight check.
IRL insight check.
I was hoping for less, but I had 105 gold, so it was nice that you did that.
Yeah, he stuffs it all in. Thank you, both of you. If there's anything else you need, you know where to find me. Feel free to visit Sylvan's Stash anytime.
Thank you.
Thank
Will
you,
do,
bye-bye
thanks.
now.
It's been really nice.
Yeah.
And he kind of just like tilts his head as he leaves and goes back behind the fucking door. You see the little feather just kind of bob out of the room as he leaves.
I love him.
All right, let's go back to the blacksmith.
Right. Oh yeah. Did
We leave.
he end up getting a bag? I shout to the owner.
No, he was too poor.
Oh.
Maybe I should put it into the box. Maybe I'm gonna go over there and see if he needs the box.
Run out.
Yeah, because I did give you a bag of holding, which you're using as a box of holding currently, if I understand correctly.
Yeah. $4 grand. Fuck
Toy
that
box
bonus.
of many.
That's what the
Toy
price
box
checker
of-
said, bro.
So I actually looked it up after because I had mixed. So the same item costs, like general consensus is about 4,000 is fair. I thought it was weird because the bag of holding is an uncommon item.
Uncommon
items
is
are
usually 500 top out.
between 100 to 500. So
Yep.
I was not expecting $4 grand.
I think it's a rare exception. I don't know why, but that's just how it be. And
Yeah,
I
it's
can
just
even
how it
knock
be.
some stuff off of it, and it's still gonna
It's
be
fine.
thousands of
No.
dollars.
Like you stick with your
look up
rule.
the
like,
price
I
for an
was
efficient
just
quiver. You could
confused.
hold the same amount of things in an efficient quiver,
Oh,
It doesn't.
and
I don't know.
and it might not be that much.
I think efficient quiver.
I mean, I could do
holds
everything with the
arrows
armor that
specifically.
way.
No, it
You
it
can-
has a bunch of storage.
Yeah,
It's
you
crazy.
you can technically put other items in there.
Okay,
It's just
well,
it has to fit the pocket.
I
Is the
might
rule.
veto that.
No, it has like size specific storage. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah.
So, you're making your way back to the blacksmith. At this point, Otten, we will cut to you, who was just wandering his way through town looking
No,
through
no,
a
no.
stable. I can tell you, you didn't see one on the way in.
Running.
You whatever, gallivanting.
I'm on a clock.
Okay.
I will if I see a guard, I will ask if there's a stable. Like I'll stop and I'll ask for directions.
Okay. Yeah, it's easy enough. There's plenty of guards. There's like
Okay.
2 stationed at every gate, 2 patrolling in between, like every fucking station guard. Like it's quite active.
Okay.
And as the sun's going down, you notice the guard presence kind of begins to tick up a little bit.
Okay.
You approach one easily enough, as you kind of do. He says, "Hi there. What can I do for you?"
Stable. Where can I find it?
Oh, you don't really have a stable per se. There's a couple farmers who just sell livestock out of their own personal things. They're kind
Okay.
of nestled together.
Where would I find them?
About 10 minutes north up the road. Not far, just on the edge of the farms.
Understood.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Look
actually gonna
for
run-
as you're kind of running away, he says, "Look for the O'Reilly family."
The O'Reilly family, thank you. And I'm actually gonna go to the blacksmith and wait for Gregory because I'm not gonna keep that guy's shop open any longer than I have to.
Okay.
When Gregory arrives, I'm just gonna load my order into into his box.
Into the
I'll be
toy
like-
box of holding.
I'll be like, I do have a plan. You won't have to hold this permanently. Just bear with.
It's fine. There's lots of. I have yet to fill this thing, so that's fine.
Well, I have a very fierce sense of independence and don't like taking other people's space, but I appreciate the help.
Absolutely. We'll get you. Maybe we'll find another toy box. That'd be cool.
It would be wonderful. Yes.
I don't know where my family found this one, but
Yes.
I'm gonna
Dad.
go to the shopkeeper and say, "Art, I would like to do that trade with you, but I'm gonna be honest with you. The sword does have a small curse on it. You probably figured that shit out, and I feel bad for lying to you.
Kind of had a feeling you were keeping something from me.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're not interested in trade, I get it.
What's the curse?
If you fuck up real bad, you'll hurt yourself. Like the sword will hit you.
It's a sword that will hurt its wielder.
If you fuck up real bad, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if my clientele's gonna go for that per se.
Yep, nope, that's totally fair. So
What do
I
you
mean,
want? What do you want for it? I'm sure I can find someone to pawn it off. If not,
well, you said
there's
you
certainly enough magical people around. I can probably find someone who's interested in at least examining it.
well, you before you said you'd do a straight up trade. So how about I give
That was
you?
before I knew it was cursed.
No, I know. Stanislav has a kind of just a sense of defeat about him because he feels bad for lying. I mean, it does still hit harder than normal sword. So how about I give you 150 gold in the sword for the axe?
Tell you what. If you're alright leaving it with me for a night, I'll have my wizard friend come over and have a look at it. We'll think of a deal and get it to you by morning. I need him to know exactly what I'm getting to myself into with this, if that's alright with you.
No, that's fine. Did I ever get the actual name of the sword, by the way?
Yeah, it's the longsword of the Deceiver.
No, like as Stanislav.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has a name, and another thing, it makes you better at lying, which is kind of cool.
I gotta say, it's sounding further and further from my clientele every time.
That's fair.
If I'm being honest, the type of person that's interested in buying something like that's probably the type of person I'm not interested in selling to. That being said, I'm not opposed to making a deal. Like I said, leave it with me.
All right.
Check it out tonight, and I'll get back to you. Come see me in
Sounds
the
like a
morning.
plan.
I open at sunup. Not a fucking minute before.
I don't think that'll be a problem.
Sounds good. Yeah, he's just kind of
you
you see him place it back on a table in the forge, and then as he's leaving, he pulls essentially a prison gate, like an iron gate that completely blocks off and like locks it. It'll be safe here overnight, and pretty sure
Either way,
comrade's
don't
gonna
hold
close
on
their
to it.
shop in a minute.
Don't hold on to it for too long. It has that.
I
pull.
only have a loose understanding of magical weapons, but I'm pretty sure you need to open yourself up to things like that for them to get a hold on you.
Don't do that with that sword.
If I buy it from you, I'll do whatever the hell I please with it.
Right about that. I'm gonna start walking out.
Have a good night. I'll see you in the morning.
Good night.
Night, little one. Be careful with these folks.
They're good people. I don't know why people keep saying that.
I'm not
No, we
denying.
are not.
I'm sure they're perfectly
I'm hearing
pleasant.
this.
Yeah. Oh God.
Speak for yourself.
Can you have
All
this
right, let's go.
conversation outside of my fucking
Yep,
store?
we're walking
please?
out.
I'm tired.
Ding 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 ding. And I'm out.
Thank you. And he just like goes and locks the door. You hear the door latch up behind you, and he goes back into his forge. There was another back door that kind of seemingly lived to a back area, and you gather that's probably where he sleeps. He lives, breathes, and everything at the forge. That is his life. So, you've checked out the general store. You've checked out the smith. You'd like to visit the stables. Is there anything else you'd like to do around town?
I mean,
I
have
feel
to
like
go
the
to
stables will be a morning thing, right?
I was gonna say I have to go. We'll probably find some sleep and then go to the O'Reillys. Find
Okay.
Well, I, for one, would like to celebrate getting out of that place. So let's go to the pub.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
How old are you again, Gregory?
It doesn't matter.
almost-
Come on, let's go.
No,
That's right. I'm old enough to kill.
Dude, you turn into a fucking big old spider. Of course, we can go to the bar. Come on.
Exactly. I'm
Okay.
40 in spider years. Let's do this.
And Ikesh, I'll see you in the morning. Have a good sleep at home.
Okay. I actually kind of need to
Okay.
know outside of the liquor.
Poof,
How old
the horse.
are
The horse disappears, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh.
It vanishes.
outside of liquor reasons and drinking legalities?
Right.
How like we've been treating you like a child, but aging is different for different species. How old are you actually, Gregory?
I'm a human person who have been alive for almost 16 years, like 15 in a few months.
Okay.
Yeah.
I heard 60 on a meta level earlier and was very.
He's a
I thought-
60-year-old little boy.
Yeah, I thought we were treating this guy as a
There
kid.
were-
And he's really like old and respectable.
Gregory
There were-
Benjamin Button Zifidil.
There were plenty of underagers that served in the Battle of Helm's Deep. What problem would it be?
Yeah. I don't know what that is, but yeah.
Don't even like drinking at my age. Anyway, let's go.
Yeah.
All right. You leave George's forges behind you, as he seems to be going for a night's rest, or perhaps preparing to go out to the pub himself. Either way, he is expecting you the following morning. You make your way out the door, head just very short path southward to the Last Watch Inn, which you see a single iron lantern hanging above the door, and on the sign you see vaguely familiar carvings of the two statues that you saw in the Temple of Torm. The two individuals who are immortalized in stone for seemingly having sacrificed themselves for the good of the temple and the town. It seems like this inn has immortalized that in some way. As you open the door, it's quiet for a pub at night in a busy farming town. It's full. There's barely an empty seat in the house. There's barely a word being spoken except for one individual who you can just barely see his head poking out over the crowd. He appears to just be sitting there, his hands crossed over his chest, speaking quietly but powerfully. Seems to be reading a poem of some kind, finishing up some kind of oration. And he's just ending up the last dance. Old scars are healed, and joy springs anew. When love is revealed, the heart is renewed. And you just see, as he bows, these two little horns peeking out from under what appears to be a flat cap. Thank you. Thank you all, ladies and gentlemen. And, gents, I'm sorry if I got you any trouble with the ladies tonight. And all be like me. And he just bows. I'll be here till the festival in 2 weeks, and then we're getting right out of town. Sure to come see us and show some love. And don't skip the festival. Have a good night. And he just bows one more time, and the crowd begins to just erupt in applause, having seemingly just had a night of open poetry reading. And the individual kind of hops off what appears to be a small stage and kind of vanishes amongst the crowd, and you just hear the sounds of kind of almost hooves on wood.
Yeah, I'm gonna head over to the bar where the barkeeper is.
Mm-hmm.
Stanny, you have the business of beer. Why don't you do the honors of making the first order?
My pleasure.
Okay.
It's gonna get the attention of the bartender, who I'm sure is busy.
Yeah. Honestly, like as the show is winding up, people are kind of just now realizing they finished their drinks, and it looks like you're getting there just before the crowd kind of settles in, like the after show crowd, and you're greeted by a fairly like well put together, well kept half elf woman, just quite beautiful for her age, probably late 40s. Definitely like looks like a working individual, someone who is not afraid of hard toil, and she's kind of just wiping the countertops down and putting away some mugs and stuff as you approach. She kind of just looks up, and you see just the faint point of what appears to be a half-elven ear kind of poking out from beyond the bun that she has tied her hair into. And she just smiles as you approach. Hi there. What can I do for you?
Hello. Can I please get 2 rounds of your finest ale?
Just 2?
2 rounds times 3. My bad.
So 6.
Yes.
It's a lot more than 2.
Well, there's 3 of us. That's 2 rounds.
Yeah, okay. And what about the sees Gregory kind of in the background. How old are you?
Old enough.
All right, by me. She doesn't seem to care all that much. She just goes over and grabs 3 empty mugs,
I didn't
sets
think
them
that
down.
worked.
There's 4 of you too. Torin is there as well.
Right, yeah. Like that.
So she grabs 4.
Redact that.
Redacted. We could say Torin's just kind of wandering, doing his thing, but I figure at least he's sitting drinking with you. He, as the 4 mugs are produced, she just brings out. Was it ale you wanted?
Your finest, please.
Alright. You got money?
Stanislav pulls out a platinum and starts like twirling it between his fingers.
You got money. She just goes under the counter and brings up
Money bags.
2 glass bottles, sealed with looks like wax. I tell you, There is no finer mead on this continent.
That sounds fantastic.
Tell you what, for that platinum piece, I'll send over 2 more when you're done with it.
Stanislav pulls out another one and says, "Keep them coming."
Looking for
Boy.
rooms for the night? She just slides the money over, puts it in the coin purse.
We sure are.
How many?
I mean, there's
3,
4
4?
of us.
Yeah.
Let's.
2?
I mean, 2 would be
Yeah,
fine.
we got rooms with 2 beds, and then we have 1 room with 4 beds for the adventuring groups who come through. If you're looking to save a little money, if you're looking to eat, it's a little extra on the bill overnight, but you get some food thrown in with your stay. For
Right.
2 meals a day for however long you're here.
Well, we're just going to be here for the night, but I think we're pretty hungry too.
All right. Anything in particular? Any dietary restrictions? People are getting awfully fussy these days.
Whatever's the tastiest. I trust your judgment.
I appreciate it. She looks at the
I
other
like
2.
it here.
Torin, anything?
I don't.
No, thank
Going
you.
once, going twice. Okay. Doesn't even let you finish. Just goes out back, and you hear kind of quickly bark an order to somebody, and you hear kind of a younger man's voice respond. He's kind of just like, "Yeah, I got it." And she comes back out, and she's like, "I swear to God, he gets worse every single year." And she goes back to what she's doing and slides the 2 extra bottles of mead over to you. So now you have 4 to work with. She didn't even charge you for the room and board. The extra platinum is enough to cover that and some drinks for the evening. She does slide over. Did you want the 2 rooms with 2 beds or 1 room with 4? Your choice.
Let's take the 4. I think that'll be
She
fun.
slides you over a single silver, kind of like somewhat time tarnished key, and points up the flight of stairs, kind of that wraps around, and like there's just 4 rooms on the top level that she kind of gestures to. She's like, "Last one will be yours. You need a table," and she just kind of like, "Hey!" and like starts barking at this group of dudes. "How about you guys get up and give the table to someone who's actually spending money every night? And we got some customers in here now, not just a bunch of layabouts." You see one of them look up. "Yeah, I get it, Mom. Thanks for that. Let's go, guys." And
Stanislav is like choking laughter at this point.
swear to God, him and his brother. At least I can get his brother to work around here, okay? All that one does is sit around with his stupid friends. Anyway, there's your chair. I'll have the food out in a minute.
We appreciate it.
Speaking
I
of
love it here.
speaking of money and spending it,
Hmm.
bars are usually a great source of information, and I'm looking for jobs. Does that
Came to the
happen
right
here?
bar.
All right.
Anything in particular you're looking for? What's up your alley? We got things from bandits, missing children. Apparently
Oh.
the temple's been looking for help for some people.
We did hear about the
Some
temple. I do.
Issues
I do.
with undead being a thing lately. I don't really know. I just hear the stuff that comes through.
Yeah, we were there earlier. That's kind of what they said. So, I mean, it sounds like some fun for me.
Well, yeah, I don't have much to do with that. I don't even know how much they're offering. I just know they're looking.
I'm gonna swing by there later, but I'm more concerned with something along the lines of, let's say, bandits who are holed up and are very difficult to get out of somewhere.
Okay, well, let's see here. And she kind of like little eyes your coin purse a little bit.
Are you asking for money?
Information isn't free, honey.
Of course. Take out a copper piece, toss it. Or not copper, platinum. Why the fuck did I say copper?
She grabs the platinum. Tell you what, for that much, tell you anything you want to know. Tell you about the birthmark on my ass cheek if you want.
Well, now we're talking.
It's a joke.
Well, like I said, any lines on any particular...
Yeah, so, like I said, you got some missing kids, some farmers in the village part, just, you know, north of the walls by where all the farmers hang out. Been having issues, a couple kids gone missing. Don't know much
Right.
about that. I hear the O'Reillys know a little more.
Well,
Apart from that, there's the bit with the temple, like I said. No real word of bandits beyond the usual issues that we have with them. People getting attacked in the roads to the south, and I mean, hell, travel northward a couple days to the Daggerwoods and find all the bandits you could ever do, and I'm pretty sure there's just a standing reward on their heads at this point. No one's been crazy enough to go for that. But
Brave.
brave and crazy are often hand in hand.
synonymous. I
Yeah.
agree.
Mhm.
Very true.
That being said, that would be a perhaps a conversation with the guard master, or perhaps his subordinate, the guard captain. I know they're definitely looking to clear that infestation out, but it's definitely a big one. And then she kind of gives you like the lean in signal.
I lean forward.
You see the fellow kind of sitting in the back corner of the bar there.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's been in and about, and from what I understand, he works for the Highlord in some capacity. I'm not sure what capacity, but he's here for a reason he hasn't told anyone. He's had that room for a week and hasn't made any use of it. Sleeps there at night, but sits in the corner drinking, eyeing down all my customers. Makes a few of them quite uncomfortable. He's looking for something. It might be worth a conversation.
Well then, you've given me a lot to work with. I appreciate that.
You've given me a lot to spend. Of course, those idiot boys will probably have it all spent in a couple weeks on food. You have kids?
Do you think we'd be in the line of work we do if we have kids?
I
Yes.
haven't adopted any yet.
Do you have any idea how many people get into adventuring to pay for their families? Very common.
I mean,
Seems like
I
a bad
am,
idea, though.
I am in adventuring to pay
else
for
is
my family, but not for my children.
Fair enough, fair enough. There's not much else to do for work. You can either farm and make coppers every year, or you can be a soldier and make maybe a few
Oh.
gold.
I had one other question for you.
Hit me.
Recently, we ran into someone who mentioned that in these parts, finding souls desperate enough to do anything for... We're desperate enough to do anything for money.
Mm-hmm. There's lots of
You,
desperate souls. Less so around here. You find more of those south of the border. We take care of our people here. We
Good.
don't trade them like they're commodities.
That's good. I'm not looking for slaves.
Good.
But that gives me a decent amount to work with. I'm going to talk to this person giving you a hard time, or giving your customers, making your
Hard
customers
time, maybe
uncomfortable.
not. Uncomfortable, definitely. But
and
he's definitely connected. I'll tell you that much.
then I'm gonna pull 10 gold out of my pocket.
A couple pretty big spenders, you know. You don't have to. You already paid plenty,
Well,
right?
I know, but you have my intention with that birthmark comment from earlier, and I thought perhaps we could extrapolate on that. Or not. You can keep it either way. Think about it, and I'll walk off.
Yeah, I'm gonna just wink at
She,
her
like-
and
She doesn't even notice you standing. She like eyes the money and is out in turn. She kind of just like checks out the butt, looks back at the money. Pockets it.
butt's truly fantastic, so I'm
Good
proud
butt.
of being able
It's
to
good butt.
avert her gaze.
And just pockets the money from Rotten. She smiles at you if you look back, but other than that, you don't get much out of her.
That's fine. She can keep it either way. And I'm going to.
Come on, Greg, let's go intimidate somebody.
Oh, is that what? Oh, what? Oh, yeah.
I'm not-
Okay.
I'm not sure that's the play.
I'm,
Yet.
jo-
We'll see.
I'm joking. And I'm gonna
What
walk
would you
over
do?
there.
Drinks?
I'm just
I'm-
gonna, with my mead,
Yep.
I'm just gonna sit down.
I will take the mead because it's provided to me.
Same.
But- I'm just going to sit across from this particular person.
You know, traditionally someone invites you to sit down before you just sit at their table with them.
Oh, sorry, we did get an invite from,
I
I point to the waitress.
I grew up in a family where you ate was a mess hall and who you sat with was not was not particularly your choice, so I'm afraid that particular form of etiquette left me.
That's fair. You're gonna tell me that she didn't just clear that table over there for you?
Yep,
You're still sitting here?
I am.
Oh,
Wow.
we're not gonna be long.
Well, he might not be. He might not be. I have no clue how long I'm going to be at. You look like someone who handles very particular types of tasks and is here for a reason.
You're not wrong.
I like those kinds of reasons. So let's just say that I don't know if I have your attention, but you sure as hell have mine.
You had my attention as soon as you walked in. You don't exactly keep a low profile. It's
I mean-
unfortunate because I'm looking for someone who might be able to do that.
Hey, Torin,
Yeah. What?
do me a favor.
Just looks at you.
I want you to leave.
Yep.
I want you to come back in.
It's kind of rude.
Yeah.
No. He wants a demonstration of a low profile, right?
Yeah. Thought this was a low profile.
No, but you know that particular. You know what? Never mind. Just stay. I was gonna.
Oh.
Yeah.
gotcha.
mhm,
Yeah.
It's fine. Don't worry.
No,
about
no,
it.
it's cool. I got it. He steps outside, and I'm assuming you want him to cast Pass Without a Trace?
Yep, exactly. And I'll just say, here's the mark, and I will take out. I'll take out an object of some kind. Like I'll take out a copper piece or something, and I will specifically mark it. And I'm gonna go. Is there a table that's gambling?
Roll me a perception check.
Okay, I'm good at those.
You are? Yeah.
27.
So,
yeah.
pretty much the opposite corner from where you're sitting, kind of closer to the fireplace, there is a table. Seems to just be playing a basic card game.
Okay, I'm gonna walk over. I'm gonna inspect the table, look at the pot, and I'm gonna place the copper down on the table.
Maybe
Somewhere
about
it.
15 gold in the pot.
Okay.
Sizeable. There's about 6 people playing.
Okay. I'm
10 gold.
actually, you know what? I probably shouldn't put it exactly on the table, but I'm going to drop the copper, and I'm just gonna walk back, and I'm gonna be like, low profile. If you can retrieve that without anyone noticing, maybe you'll be impressed.
I got it. And Torin
Thank
just
you,
turns
Torin.
and
And
walks outside the door. He's going to cast Pass Without a Trace on himself.
love it.
Also, we would have got a long rest in overnight, so...
Yeah.
Oh no, you guys just got here, actually. So
We
you did
haven't
not get a
slept
long
yet,
rest in, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he should still have his second level, I think.
He does. He
Should-
has two
yeah.
second levels left. So he's going to cast Pass Without a Trace. Go outside, quickly sneak. So 26. And as the door closes, you just kind of assume he's doing his thing, and you notice your passives are... I don't think your passives are high enough to see it.
Mine's only 18.
You can roll me a straight up,
10.
like an actual perception check to see if you
Sure.
can beat that.
Nope.
Nope.
I physically can't.
Yep. So at a certain point, actually, you know what? I'm gonna fucking roll for this guy.
Funsies.
He
Oh
rolled
my.
he rolled a 1. It's still pretty good perception, even with the fucking +7, but it's
Yeah.
still an 8. So he doesn't notice either. And at a certain point, Torin just walks back in, casually tossing the bag of copper that you had placed down, throws it to you. You catch it. Child's play.
Yeah, Torin, I just want to take a second to let you know how much I really appreciate you. I put the copper away. Does that give a little bit more of a display of what we're capable of?
Yeah, I'd say that about covers it. Still
So,
kind of rude to just sit down, but I'm willing to accept it. Seems you're
I
a capable
mean,
bunch. So
let's
he's
be
sneaky.
real. If you fail to communicate, then you can't blame other people for forcing it. But yes,
fair.
he's sneaky.
So he's
I'm
the sneaky
observant.
type.
He's strong.
Yo, I can see that. And what about the child?
An enigma. The mix, from what I can tell, he's a capable medic and a little bit of a wild card. I haven't figured him out.
I guess
I'm
every
fine.
plan needs a wild card.
That's what they tell me.
How's your
I'm-
relations with the Imperium?
I don't have a good relationship with anyone except for the person who pays me the most money.
Shaky at best.
So if they were to pay you more,
Once I take a contract, my word is my bond.
then how do you feel about killing them?
No problems.
You see just a big, like,
He
maniacal grin come across. my
that
face.
would be a really great thing for him. He'd love it.
I'm gonna lean in
Well,
really
that
close
was
to him and just say, I used to be owned by one of them. Nothing would bring me greater joy.
Ah. So, visitors from the Imperium yourself, then, eh?
You could call me that.
Yeah, sorta.
Well, I think I have an offer for you that you might enjoy. This isn't quite the place to talk about.
We've got a room. Want to talk up there?
Busy is everywhere, my friend. Tell you what. In the morning, you can find me here. And he hands you a small piece of paper. It's folded up.
I'll take it.
Yep.
Put it
You
in my
open it
pocket.
right- Okay,
Nope.
just pocket it immediately. Got it.
Yeah, this everywhere has ears. I'm with him.
All right. So as you pocket it, meet me there tomorrow. And, well, we'll discuss what you can do for me and what rewards are in it for you if you succeed. You're not the only team that I've had a meeting with. You're not going to be working together per se, but you're not alone if you end up taking this job.
It's fine with me.
The more the merrier, as they say.
I hope
Not
you're ready
always.
for some fresh Imperium blood on your weapons. There's plenty of it to go around.
Make him very happy.
I can imagine. Torin kind of just pipes up. Me too.
Well then, I'm gonna take the smallest of sips, but I'm gonna make it look like it's bigger out of my mead.
I got you.
I drink a quarter of what's in my glass.
I raise it. Here's to unsettled business partners.
See you in the morning. And he very quickly stands up and almost glides out. Like he's walking and you can see it, but he is so light of foot, it is
Impressive.
almost off-putting. And as you kind of see the him leaving, you do notice as the hood just barely blows back with the speed he's moving, there is definitely a pair of elvish ears under there.
Stanny,
What's up?
I'm about to take a risk. This guy, he's fun. I'm gonna follow him.
Okay. Torin's Pass Without a Trace is still up.
Okay, Torin, if you don't mind, I would appreciate the backup.
I got you covered.
Oh, Greg, let's go eat.
Okay, so
Sure,
thank
yeah.
you, Pass Without a
21.
Twace. That's 21.
21.
Pass without a
Torin-
twice.
Pass without a
Pass-
twace.
Pass Without a Twace.
36
You
for
wee
Torin.
beloved.
Holy shit. So as this individual leaves in his kind of dark green cloak, it's kind of just blowing in the wind. You guys kind of give it a couple seconds until you figure he's far enough away. And you make your way out the door. As you do, the bard, who has kind of been sitting for the last 5 minutes, kind of having himself a drink, just kind of sits up. And now, ladies and gentlemen, just a little bit of music to wind down the evening. And he just starts kind of playing on his pan flute. He just starts kind of keep this upbeat but soothing melody that he's playing, and then you notice in the background, similar looking individual, though female, with much larger horns, in which you see woven a number of flowers. And while this individual is absolutely jacked, very similar to the level of Stanislav, there is a certain elegance about her as she stands there with a just absolute air of power and authority, in little more than a sundress. And that's where we're gonna end out the session for this evening.
I'm gonna fucking cry.
I will say, just before I leave, by the way, like just before I step out, as we're waiting for the few seconds, I'm going to take out a piece of paper and I'm going to write on it, "This is what I do."
Who's that for?
So the guy said he's sneaky, he's strong.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. That's the last note.
All right. So I will remember those rolls will be there next time, and we will continue with that. I just figured this would be a fairly suitable place to wind things down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Being we got all our shopping done, we got a little role play in. It was a little bit of a nice low-key session. We've had a curse be cured. You're expected to meet at the temple tomorrow. You have to go meet with this individual.
By the way, I gave Torin the dagger of returning, so if you want to add that to his character sheet.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'll deal with it.
I can't. I'm not a dex-based dude.
Oh no, it's fine. Yeah. So thank you guys for joining. I want to thank everyone. Mystics comes in with the triple gifted subs right at the end of the fucking stream. Oh my god.
Hey, yeah.
Thank you so much. I will hit you with those fucking spin wheels in the morning for during the Dark Souls stream if you're around for that, or whenever you happen to join us next. Who got subs? One Mystery X, Shaka6331, and Negan Mox. Love to see it. Thank you so much. Absolutely wonderful. God love you. In the meantime, pew 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 pew.
Pew, 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 pew.
Plotting my demise stream-wise. I get you. I feel you. I respect it. That's been us for tonight. We are the Cross Country Compatriots. Thank you for joining us for another session of the Might of the Imperium. Really looking forward to next week when we get to hang out with some characters from the past that I just couldn't let go to waste. I will see y'all tomorrow for some Dark Souls. Looking forward to that. And yeah, in the meantime, be good to each other. Fucking keep it positive. Try to, shine a little light in today. It's been a bit of a fucking crazy few months.
Mm-hmm.
We're just glad we get the group back together. And hopefully next session we'll have RP Thrice back to see what comes next. Catch us next week for our Vampire the Masquerade campaign, Sundown in Cowtown, while we recover from just a devastating fucking loss and try not to die in the ensuing events that follow. We will catch you guys tomorrow. Peace out.
Bye.